tremendous looking trophy.
Welcome to number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. Fuck all that shit. The PlayStation 5's been announced. How hyped are we all? Kieran March and joining me, Ashley Holby joining me, and special guest, Buddy Watson. Let's start with you, Kieran. How are you feeling about the event?
Man, I got PlayStation 2 vibes from the showcase of games that we were showing.
That sounds
today.
terrible. Do you want to expand?
No, sorry. Not the graphical quality, not the kind of, not the how the games were presented or anything. It was more the array of games and genres that were displayed, the amount of kind of mascotty, family-friendly kind of games that were put on in combination with your more freaking like kind of higher-end spectacle type games. It just showed a really good array that I don't think has been captured as well in like previous generations, where it all seems like, you know, all of these games seemed really high quality from the trailers that we were given, and that's really exciting, and that gives me the vibes of when I was a kid and had a PlayStation 2 and there was all this stuff that I could have played. So I think it's really exciting and really good for PlayStation that they put on such a solid showcase.
So you'd say you enjoyed it as a overall?
I did. Overall, I thought it was fair. I thought it was really fantastic, and I think it kind of highlights some of the shortcomings that Microsoft's had by splitting theirs into kind of two separate things.
Boom, you said it. Boom.
Yeah.
Console wars begun. Yeah. Buddy, how'd you feel about what we got seen today?
Start to finish, I think they hit it out of the park. It was just felt like one announcement after another. I was very impressed with it. I agree with Kieran. It was a very diverse array of games. There's a big rumor that Ratchet and Clank was going to be one of the announcements there, but if that was going to be their one, hey, here's a kid game, and here's the racing game, and here's the AAA third-person action game, I didn't expect there to be Sackboy, Ratchet and Clank, and then all these other little indie titles, and then Astrobot is showcased as well. So I think they hit it out of the park with kind of being like more of a family-friendly lineup than what they'd had before. So I pretty much agree with what Kieran said before. I love that they showed the console at the end. Just, I can't really fault the presentation at all. I'm super keen for it now.
Ash.
Yeah, pretty brilliant. As good as they possibly could have done it, I think, given the circumstances. Again, a perfect mix of different games, hitting pretty much any and every demographic, I think. So, yeah, brilliant.
Brilliant, he says.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but obviously, I feel like it was honestly kind of easy pickings in a bit because in some ways, obviously, a lot of people went into that third-party Xbox thing and they were looking for this, and then they didn't get this. So now everyone was like, it was just kind of Sony's easy.
It was a bit of a free hit.
Yeah. Honestly, it felt like
Xbox bowled a no ball, and PlayStation for 6.
God damn it, sport references.
Yeah.
But it was like the fact that PlayStation sat down after the Xbox event and kind of went, okay, what are fans' problems with this event, and how can we put that into our showcase to make it better and make it more accessible for everybody? And I think they did a really good job of listening to people and really picking up on that. Yeah,
so we'll get into all the games separately in just a moment and all that sort of stuff and break it all down. My one thing I will note, because we'll just get this out of the way and go over it, because this was kind of like the prologue section, I guess, but they announced that they opened with GTA 5, and at first I was like that opening with GTA 5, and I was like, yes, it's going to be coming to PS5. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Like, tonally at the start, I was a bit like, oh, is this what we're about to get? We're about to get like 3 to 4 more games of, here it is on PS4, it's coming to PS5, here's fucking Fortnite, here's, like all these things, but it wasn't that. So looking back in retrospect, I can be like, it's fine, but there was a hot second where I was like, no, please. But just to get the GTA 5 thing out of the way, they said Grand Theft Auto 5, PlayStation 5 will feature a range of technical improvements, visual upgrades, and performance enhancements to take full advantage of the console's powerful new hardware, making the game more beautiful and more responsive than ever. Also, GTA Online will continue on PlayStation 5, featuring additional GTA Online content exclusive to the latest generation hardware. Plus, a new standalone version of GTA Online will also be available for free exclusively to PlayStation 5 players during the first 3 months. And also, starting today, all PlayStation Plus members on PlayStation 4 will get the game for free, $1 million GTA dollars deposited within 72 hours into their game. And each day they play GTA Online until the launch of GTA Online on the PlayStation 5. You get bonus credits or something. I don't know. I don't care. I don't play GTA Online. I was like, whatever. You know, like it's a high selling game.
Ever.
Number 1 in the charts every month. So
it was weird because clearly nothing that they showed was anything to do with the PlayStation 5. Like everything they showed was
it was all PS4 footage, and it literally had in the left hand
footage.
corner of the screen the entire time, like PS4. So
you know, people have no idea what enhanced really means for GTA 5, like what that actually means for that game coming forward. So I'd be interesting to see what kind of announcements they make for it coming forward about exactly what's changed. But yeah, it was like a kind of a piecemealy start. It wasn't massive.
And just to so people remember, that was a PS3 game.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
That has now been ported to PS4, where it got the most successful via GTA Online, and then they're porting it to PS5 as well. I don't think there's any, you know, you definitely can't say there's ever been a game in history before that's been carried as many generations.
Yeah.
Fucking GTA Online.
Nothing that's lasted had such a long life on console.
No, it's quite ridiculous. All right, so yeah, I'll count that as the prologue. Let's get into the meat and smash and beans. What's the saying, Kieran? You're British.
The main
Bangers and
course.
mash?
The meat and veg?
Yeah,
meat and veg?
Meat and veg. Let's get into your meat and veg right now. That's it.
Why is it me being British mean
I know, got to bring it up in the second episode somewhere.
Right,
so-
okay, that's fine. All right, no worries.
It's just a thing. All right, so yeah, after all that, Jim Ryan then enters and points out that he's still best buds with Rockstar. Whether or not that's just something he's saying because they got this whole deal with GTA
Agent
happening,
confirmed.
or that could be confirmed that tennis is tabletop's coming to PS5
Yes.
as well.
That's what we need.
That's what we actually want. We don't care about GTA anymore.
No, it's foosball.
Foosball, please no. And then they're like, all footage from this point on, all captured on PS5. So that was an important thing. And what they opened with was I'm going to predict, surely it was just Ash's game of the show. They showed off, well, really? So they announced Spider-Man Miles Morales, not Spider-Man 2. It's not DLC. To me, this is kind of like the equivalent of Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Yep.
But for Spider-Man.
It's like a 1.5. It's a 1.5 if you were to say like kind of where it sits. I think it's interesting that this had maybe the shortest trailer, but it also had the closest release date for the games that we really had.
There were several that said holiday 2020, and this was one of them.
There was only 3 or 4.
NBA 2K is coming fall this year, so
Oh, damn.
which is spring.
But I was,
for
yeah,
us.
I just think it was interesting that it was fairly short and like there was no gameplay to it, but it's still one of the closer games coming out from this reveal event.
They showed gameplay. Well, not proper gameplay, but it looked like there was gameplay in it, like him swinging around the city and
Yeah.
whatever else. But yeah, Ash, what do you think? You're the biggest.
I was very surprised. I mean, I wasn't expecting any Spider-Man content in this, so to get some sort of Spider-Man's cool. Yeah, I definitely get Lost Legacy vibes. Like that based on the time frame, that makes the most sense. That might have had a team working on like a shorter story based around Miles. But I mean, that's cool for Spider-Man going forward. We could potentially be getting Peter Parker games and Miles Morales games going forward. So yeah, super happy. Great way to kick off the show.
Yeah. Cool. Buddy, what do you think?
Agreed. Very shocked. Spider-Man, God of War, and Horizon were the big 3 that were like, these are the sequels that could possibly be mentioned or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, Horizon's the most likely one with all the kind of rumors going around. We won't get 2 of these games. And then to see Spider-Man open up, like, wow, okay, we're possibly going to get a couple of big AAA
Anything is possible.
hitters. Anything's possible, especially in dreams. So yeah, very surprised, just like you, Ash. I hope there's a more condensed, better experience like Lost Legacy or Infamous First Light or whatever it was.
First Light, that's a good. I forgot about that.
That's a good comparison.
That's a good
Yeah.
call.
And I guess
actually.
the big hope is that it uses another part of the city as a map, not just Miles is in the same map using his own story. So that would be great. But what a way to kick off! Fantastic.
Yeah,
Initially, I thought it was like it might be the Batman or Superman type game from Rocksteady with the arm and the electricity kind of vibing off it. I'm like, is this the Flash? No.
Buddy, you just reminded me that we didn't get Batman in the show. That's so triggering.
What more do you
Sorry.
want?
Sorry.
the interesting thing I have I do want to remind people is that I would say, and I've said this before when we talked about the DLC, that you should, if you haven't already, go play the Spider-Man 3 DLCs, because they're probably going to be super important to you to going into playing this Miles Morales game, because a lot of those actually kind of set up some Miles stuff.
Bits and pieces of it might actually be like a direct tie-in. Now to think about it,
I think
because
it is.
I think there's like training stuff they're talking about, so it could like take place at the same time. I mean, now's the best time during Days of Play to pick up. I imagine the DLCs on sale.
Probably. Most likely, yeah. And those DLCs, they start talking about Peter training Miles and stuff. Remember when I was playing the DLCs, I was like, damn, they're teasing this in the DLC and not waiting for the sequel. But maybe they started teasing it in the DLC because they knew they was going to be making this game now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I also think it's another tie-in, I think, an important thing to point out, the Spider-Man Miles Morales thing is, couldn't help but think when they opened the show with the Spider-Man game, they originally, of course, we got our first leaked footage of like PS5 tech, whatever, when of course that GameStop PS5 Spider-Man video was shown, like, look how fast it loads, like, and that's the demo tech they were using to explain at the time. Now they're obviously going to have a Spider-Man game fully using what they were trying to explain to people and all of that, so that's cool.
So Miles is going to be faster than Peter, is what you're saying.
It's true. There's no way to argue about it. It's
Facts.
just true. Facts. Yeah. Hashtag facts. So next thing they got was Gran Turismo 7. Obviously this was kind of a given and sort of leaked last week because the trademark or whatever popped up the day this was originally supposed to go down. So yeah. Gran Turismo 7. Thank God it's actually 7, not some bullshit name like Gran Turismo 6.897 Prologue Super Duper Edition.
They've only done
bullshit.
a couple of that.
I
It's
fucking
like
hate
6
them. They give me the
Prologue
shit.
and Sport. That was
I don't
it.
want a fucking prologue to a racing game. Just give me the goddamn racing game, or don't give me the racing game, Anyway,
Was a prologue like a we got a game coming.
Yes.
It's not really ready yet, but
Yes.
we'll do it. We'll put it out.
take your
now,
money,
so
though.
there's something.
Yes, and then they do all these other weird additions. Anyway, they showed a trailer for it, and then they showed a race, or like a lap of a race, so they did show gameplay. I'll say one thing, like, it looks good. It was not mind-blowing, and I think a lot of that is due to the fact that this stream, probably should have said this at the start because it was important, but the entirety of this stream was only available in 1080p, although you can now go find the most of these trailers available to watch in 4K, but when you was watching them in the stream, they're only shown in 1080, so it's like, how good does Gran Turismo 7 look? Looks fine. Like, it doesn't look any more mind-blowing than I can imagine the current one looks. But I will say they didn't confirm, but I'm going to presume that it is using ray tracing. And if it is, then it's, if they got ray trace reflections on all the cars and these sorts of things, that's kind of going to be the next up step. And also 3D audio, which of course is a big push for PlayStation 5. They keep a lot of the PS blog posts they put up for the game so far, nearly every single one is like 3D audio, 3D audio, 3D audio. And of course, Mark Cerny, I'm pretty sure, just sleeps next to a Bible that says fucking 3D audio at this point. So I wouldn't be surprised if Gran Turismo 7 has some great uses of audio and sounds and stuff. Does anyone here, Buddy, do you care about Gran Turismo at all?
At launch, possibly. I didn't really care about GT Sport. I was more of a Drive Club guy because I think Gran Turismo is way too much simulation, whereas Drive Club, even though it was a little bit of a sim, I felt like it was a good trade-off between sim and arcade. Yeah, middle ground between that, all you need for speeds and Gran Turismo. So I may pick this up depending on what the launch lineup is, and just because it's out and it's something that can showcase the console. But looking at the number of other titles that were announced and possible stuff that's back-ended for the year, maybe I won't have to do that, specifically with something like Dirt 5 that's coming out that has more of a campaign and is co-op and something. So I probably will pick up Eraser just to see what it kind of looks like. I'll be a sucker at the start of the generation and buy games that I usually won't.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go back to FIFA, which I haven't done in 5 years, but we'll see what happens. But I'm very impressed that they showed the gameplay, even though it wasn't amazing. It was just the cockpit view. It definitely set the standard. Like, as soon as they showed that little portion of going around in the lap, I'm like, well, this is nothing special, but this is what they're going to do now. I think the next couple of games are going to show portions. They're definitely addressing that criticism that Microsoft had with their third party showing earlier on in the month.
No gameplay. Yeah. And in considering that the trailer they showed beforehand, it had like mixed in gameplay anyway. So even if they only showed that, I would have been like, well, they could have been like, there was gameplay in there, but the fact that they then cut away to, I can't remember his name, I'm sorry, but the dude from Polyphony speaking about it, and then they cut back to the gameplay. I was like, cool, yeah, okay. Sets the tone. Let's go forward. Kieran, I'm going to presume you give zero shits about Gran Turismo.
I'm just. I'm much like Buddy, where it's like at the start of a generation, there's like a possibility of me buying it depending on what is out at launch. But at the same time, GT's always been way too much sim for me to play. Like, I really just don't enjoy when it's that far into simulation where I spend half the time digging myself out of speed traps because I've like landed in the gravel somewhere.
I'll do those license races.
Yeah, correct. But yeah, no, it's still. I think this game. I think it didn't blow me away with how it looked, but I think that's just because it was in 1080p. I was like, looks like GT, cool.
Yeah.
But I think you do need to experience it with, in 4K or in the future with ray tracing, so you can really kind of feel how much depth there is to this game.
Yeah. I pretty much everything Buddy said is how I kind of feel about this. Where I'm like, wouldn't be super amped on it, but yeah, I probably will pick this up if it's a launch game, because I feel like that's just a general thing that people do at launch anyway. They're like, you don't just buy one game, you don't buy two games. You're like, if I'm getting a launch console, I want to buy fucking like 5, 6, however many fucking games you can afford. You want to buy as many to dip your toes into and not just be like, oh, I'll commit to this one massive, like if Horizon's a launch game, which we'll get to a bit later, it's like, you could buy that and be good. Ain't gonna happen. I want to buy all the games, even if I only play one of them for like an hour. So next thing we got, juicy one, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart. So they showed a trailer for this, and then they followed that up with actual gameplay, alpha gameplay. It is a brand new game. It's not what a lot of people obviously thought they were going to do, which was just remake 2 or do like a new version of 2 or something to continue on. This was the only time I think they actually mentioned straight up a developer was like ray traced, and I like how they the example given, they're like, we got ray traced reflections of Clank. I mean, they said ray traced reflections, which means they've got ray traced reflections in the game, full stop. But I love how the example they used to point it out. There's like, yeah, on Clank, that's where all the ray trace.
You're running through a level and you suddenly get blinded by a ray jump, like bouncing off Clank towards you. Like, oh god, like it's it's
next level. So I thought this game looked amazing. I love like back when I was in high school or whatever, when all the original ones coming out, absolutely loved the Ratchet and Clank franchise. I loved the remake of 1 they did, that beautiful game. This looked great. It looked stunning, but at the same time, Ratchet and Clank's art style, like I think the remake of 1 on PS4 is one of the best PS4 games, full stop, but also one of the best looking PS4 games, I think. And a lot of that is just to do with the art style and how great it looks, and kind of just this. Although it looks great, it's like, I think this would have looked great on PS4 as well. And this is one of those things where I feel like I have to play it, see how good those ray trace Clank reflections are to really see if it's that next level. Buddy, how do you feel about it? Are you into Ratchet and Clank? Excited for
Yeah, Platinum Ratchet and Clank. It's fantastic. It's the game I recommend a lot to families that come in and looking for that type of game, jumping from world to world. The thing that really stood out to me was this was the first time consciously watching something like, oh, this is taking advantage of the PlayStation 5 and its hardware and capabilities with the SSD, with the rifting through the jumping through the dimensions. I'm like, oh wow, did they just jump into a completely new level? Is there no hub overworld anymore? Are you just going to be able to jump through world on world on world? So that's what jumped into my mind, and showing the gameplay again and how many enemies are on screen and how hectic that was another great move as well. Everything about it looks fantastic. So
there was that, like, right at the start of that demo, it seems like he used something to, like a gadget or something to, like, to literally rift jump from.
You, like, grapple. He, like, it looked like it's hard to explain. He, like, there was, like, a break in, like, the reality or rift, and he kind of pulled himself into that place. But, like, instead of, like, where a grappling hook would pull you to it, he pulled it to him.
Yes.
So it was just, it's hard to explain.
Yeah, it's like maybe in an old school game design, it's like you would do that and then there would be like a 30-second load screen as you transfer to the next place or whatever. But yeah, I guess a good example of PS5 tech, it loads instantly. Kieran, what more thoughts on it?
Man, I was instantly like, do I want to play Ratchet and Clank again? Because, like, just the gameplay itself looked so much fun again and looked so enjoyable, and I've just kind of missed that type of game just to play. Like, I played when Ratchet and Clank for the PlayStation 4 was released, I played that through in one sitting, because Ratchet and Clank's just been one of my favorite series when I was a kid, so I just did it again. I was a little worried during the trailer because, and I think it might have just been the stream, but there was, for me at least, there was, when he was going through some of the portals, there was like frame issues where it was like slowing down and cutting frames, and I was like, okay, is this just an issue? And I think it was just the stream in the end, because the gameplay ran really smoothly and looked really cool. I'm excited for the variety and new weapons that they're going to bring out. Like, he had like there was like an ice turret that he put down, that it was like spraying ice at people while he ran around doing other things. I'm really excited for that. Not just the gameplay, but also the character of that world. You know, just the NPCs talking and making comments around him just made me smile and just brought this life to this world that we haven't played in for a couple years now. I'm just really excited for.
Ash?
Yeah, super pumped. I mean, Ratchet and Clank is one of the flagship series for PlayStation. I'm really happy we're getting one at launch. Damn Sunset Overdrive. If only that 4A hadn't happened, we would have had more Ratchet and Clank last generation. So, yeah.
Like, how you sticking all your blame on Sunset Overdrive for less Ratchet?
It's all Xbox's fault, let's be honest.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah, technically. But yeah, it looks great. Looks beautiful. We get Girl Ratchet, apparently. It's going to be really good.
The other thing a couple of things I noticed was, as I tweeted it out, that not the part at the end of the trailer where the girl Ratchet or whatever that character is,
Richard,
maybe where that shows up. But there's another point in the trailer where he's jumping through all the dimensions or whatever, and then he like enters this area and he literally says, What is this place? And then Clank's like, I don't know. And then they zip off somewhere else. That to me looked like it was literally Jack and Daxter's city from Jack 2. So if that comes out to be an actual legit like Easter egg or a thing, I just want to say I was there first. You know, just give me the points for the...
Oh my goodness.
I'm just saying, go back, watch the trailer. I'm pretty sure it looked like the city from Jack 2 is what I'm saying, you know? Just get excited. The other thing was, when was going into this, they kept being like, oh, watch this thing with headphones, right? They're like, oh, watch it with headphones. There's going to be some cool audio things. And I would say for the most part, there was nothing in this entire event that was like super, oh, this was mind-blowing audio. You really need to use headphones for this. Although I did notice in the Ratchet and Clank gameplay, there was some good, just generally good sound design. Nothing mind-blowing, but enough that my ears pricked up to the point my brain was like, oh, that's like just the gunplay mixing with all the stuff. But in general, Ratchet and Clank's always had like good, you know, enemy sound mixed with weapon design sound. So I don't know if I was just overthinking it because I got told to go in and with headphones on and pay attention or whatever. But this was the only time in all of the gameplay that I was like, oh, maybe that was something else I was to pay attention to, or I'm just overthinking it.
Also, it was really nice that with the reference to Nefarious trying to take over the world again, it shows that they're not throwing out the canon from the previous games, even though they've done the remake. They're still keeping the original game's history there.
I don't think the remake really changed anything other than just making it that Clank wasn't an asshole to Ratchet in the first game. They didn't retcon any major.
But they could have just, for the sake of the PlayStation 4 players and people who have only played that Ratchet and Clank, they could have just been like, this is a direct lead on from that game. But no, they've quite clearly they have made something that joins in the history of Ratchet and Clank and does it, and it will reward you for previously playing through those games.
Yeah. No, this looked great. This was definitely one of my favorite things, I think. And then we got the next one, probably a game that may or may not ever come out. So Project Athia, I think so to say it. Square Enix, Luminous Productions, some fantasy thing. The last game they were working on, whatever that was called, Dragons thing or Dark Descent, I don't know, I don't remember. That game never came out, so I've little faith in this. But at the same time, it is exclusive for PS5, and Gary Whitta on Twitter tweeted out after it happened that he is leading the team of writers involved in writing the overall lore and story for this game. So that was something, I guess. Ash, did you have any major thoughts on Project Athia?
No, I mean, it looks pretty, but there's not a lot to go on. I mean, Luminous was the place that Tabata went to and then left not long after.
Yeah,
right.
Because they weren't doing anything. They're like, "Oh, we're making games."
They were doing Final Fantasy 15 DLC, I think, from memory. But then,
which they cancelled anyway.
Yeah,
they didn't even finish making them.
And
all.
now they're making something else. So,
oh dear. Kieran,
of course, we have some sort of Square Enix project that comes out. Announced at the start. Maybe it'll come out eventually.
I just saw Square Enix and I was like, "Yeah, cool, give me something." And then I was like, "Oh, never mind." Kieran, did you care for this?
I laughed because I was like, sweet, they've replaced The Last Guardian or, Final Fantasy 15 with, here's a game that's going to come out in 10 years' time. It's just going to be in that kind of headspace is all that's said to me. So, cool, but I'm sure when we get this game, it's going to be completely different and we're going to look back at this trailer and be like, that's not the game that they showed.
Most likely. Yeah, and they didn't really show much. I mean, they showed the character jumping.
Showed a little bit of running. Yeah.
Fucking monsters. Buddy, what'd you think?
Yeah, same as Kieran. I was like, this game's never coming out. See you in 5 years, maybe. So, looked cool, but, tech demo. Let's create a trailer.
Yep, pretty much. So moving on to an actual game next. So Stray is a game in which you play a cat. It's been published by Annapurna Interactive. It's coming in 2021. So looking into this, it was originally known as Project HK_Project, which originally started kicking around on the internet in 2016, 2017, and all it was a bunch of short gameplay that got turned into GIFs, whatever, fuck yous. And it was posted around Twitter and everyone retweeted it because they were like, a game where you play as a cat, this looks like a lot of fun. And it was just these two dudes making this. And then Annapurna reached out to them and was like, hey, we're interested. What are you doing? And then they formed this partnership and then they began working on this game. So in the PS blog post they put up about it, Viv, the creative and game director at Blue 12 Studio, wrote, our goal is to create a unique experience playing as a cat. We're inspired every day by Murta and Riggs, our two cats. Most of the team are cat owners as well, giving us all a lot of helpful first-hand references. Cats are always so playful, cute, and lovely annoying. There's an endlessly stream of gameplay ideas for us. It's also a very unique point of view for an adventure game. Exploring the strange world we are building feels really fresh when you are sneaking under a car or walking the rooftops with the inhabitants below unaware of your presence. Or if you want them to be aware, you can just meow endlessly to annoy them. So this is a cat adventure game. Ash, what do you think? The cat adventure game.
It looks beautiful. I mean, they've built obviously a really interesting world, post-humans, I guess. Set probably 2022, I think. I mean, it sounds good. Play as a cat.
Play as a cat.
Play as a cat in the robot world.
In a robot world. Got him game of the year. Buddy, what do you think?
What were the name of those cats again?
Riggs and Murtaugh.
That's amazing. Lethal Weapon 6, Lethal Weapon 5, Lethal Weapon 6. Here we go. It's confirmed in video game form.
Adventure.
I can't wait to be the roguish outlaw cat that doesn't follow the rules and the other cat that wants to retire. So
Okay.
Too old for this cat. Too old for this litter box.
it looked good. Didn't really give us anything outside of that, but I guess the write-up sounds a little bit more interesting. So
Yeah. So this is why whenever I see trailers like this, I'm like, all right, take me to your website, something. Tell me what the fucking game actually is. You know, I'm like, it looked pretty. You play as a cat. What type of game is it? Like, is it like adventure game? Okay, so I'm going to be playing as a cat, and apparently there's going to be puzzles. They said there's going to be action scenes as well. Some sort of adventure game.
Yeah,
where you play
There's going to be some sort of like cat catcher robot.
Yeah, probably chasing you. I don't know.
Yeah.
Weird. I mean, I guess the thing that stood out to me watching the trailer, I guess, is that they obviously show, like cyberpunk, neon future type thing where there's a bunch of robots on Earth, but the cat's the only thing you see in the trailer that's a organic thing that's left, right? And the rest of the things are robots, and that's literally the only organic thing we see in the entire trailer is the cat. So, Kieran, do you like cats?
I do.
Appreciate
cats a
cats.
lot.
Yeah.
I was actually really excited about the premise of this game because at first I don't have the reference of the previous pictures or the GIFs or anything that was posted on Twitter. I'd never even heard of it, but just the start of this trailer where I didn't realize you played as the cat or the cat was going to be the kind of the main premise of it, where I was just really enthralled and interested in what this world was. And just like what exactly is going on. And then on top of that, to learn that you're going to experience this through like a different kind of medium, like you're experiencing this as a cat. I'm so excited to I hope this is really good narratively and it's going to be really interesting to explore. I think it's got a great setting to start with. So as long as the gameplay is, tight and well put together, I think it's going to be a really good title.
Press triangle to meow. Yeah. Yeah, have some fun. So after all this, we then got a PS5 trailer that was about the controller. For a second, I thought we were about to see the box like halfway through it, but of course they were just teasing that, and I was like, "Cool, yes."
It did. So it did say Ultra 4K Blu-ray. Was that specifically for the disc that they're using for PS5?
No, it's just confirming it's playing 4K Blu-rays finally, which we already knew.
Okay, so wasn't there some sort of doubt that you could play 4K Blu-rays on it?
No, they confirmed this start of year, end of last year, whenever it was. I can't remember, but we've known that for long enough.
So there's absolutely no reason to pick up the Xbox One.
No.
Whatever it's called now, yeah.
Yeah.
they confirmed it in a Wired tweet.
Yeah.
Oh, I must have missed that one tweet.
For people who care about 4K Blu-rays, was like really on the lookout for that tweet, like, have my notifications on for 4K and PS5.
Google notifications, yeah.
Yeah, Google
The
notifications.
steelbook lovers of the world are really
damn right.
by it.
All right, so the next thing we actually got into was Herman Holston comes in and he introduces a Housemarque game. So called Returnal. It is looked like it was a third-person shooter in which you are dying over and over as this female space astronaut, I guess, crashing into what looks like, I guess, Earth. Like, it seems to have this, like, Planet of the Apes type vibe where she's crashing in and then it keeps like flashing and showing what Earth used to look like and whatever else. But I'd guess to be honest, I saw Housemarque. I'm like, cool, yeah, Housemarque game. Give me the fucking... Tell me what this was. But when they actually showed it, it just kind of looked like a pretty basic third-person shooter. Like, and I mean, maybe there's more to it when you actually get into the gameplay systems, like your Housemarque type upgrade stuff. Maybe when you're playing it, you've got some next level like resogun fucking shit exploding everywhere and like super... bullets exploding everywhere and stuff like that. But I gotta say, judging from this trailer, I wasn't super impressed, which was disappointing knowing that it's a Housemarque game. Buddy, what do you think of this?
I was the opposite. I was impressed, especially the whole Battle Royale thing project that they were supposed to be doing and that they put on hold.
I think they've straight up cancelled it now. I think.
Yeah, I was hoping that they would make a return to their twin stick arcade shooters that have, they've been so popular for and are so good at. But seeing a different direction from them with all the cutscenes and everything, and then the third person gameplay, it kind of put me off a little bit until we started seeing some of the enemy fire and the combat take place. I got that kind of same
the Housemarque
graphical Housemarque feel from it, and I'm like, oh, this feels like it's going to have those kind of voxel effects that are in the previous games. So for me, when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is what they did. The concept, I can imagine them all sitting around a focus room or a board table and like, what's our next game going to be? I'm like, well, the humans in Resogun when they're on the ground and they keep dying and they keep coming back in the next level? We're going to make a game about that, and that's going to be the narrative, and no one's going to know it's a Resogun taking place at the same time.
Only you could bring up a fucking Resogun tie-in narrative reference for this goddamn game.
Wow. Coming from the person who ties in like 50 different movies into the Fast and Furious franchise. I mean, it's
look,
a bit rich.
I'm just angry because I could never finish fucking Resogun. Game's too hard. I can't do it. Ash, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, it looks like it definitely feels like a Housemarque game, just like the firing patterns and that. It's like, oh yeah, that definitely looks like a Housemarque game, even though it's obviously completely different to what they've done before. It'd be interesting if the story is good. I think that will be the thing that potentially elevates it a bit more. Whether this was it Edge of Tomorrow?
Oh no, sorry, that's
Edge of Tomorrow, like Deathloop story. What's the other one? Outer Wilds. Yes.
Yeah.
Story is good and original.
Yeah. Karen.
This is the first of maybe 2 or 3 trailers that when it started, I was like, God damn it, this is some more of this kind of Hideo Kojima style bullshit where we're fucking abstractly mysterious beyond reason. And then it started getting into gameplay. I was like, oh, okay, good on you guys. Good on you.
Oh, they're actually firing guns. Crazy.
They're actually firing guns and stuff. Cool. I understand what this game is. It's an interesting premise. I did, without realizing the Deathloop was going to be in the show, I was like, isn't there another game coming out with the same kind of premise about this kind of live, die, repeat, or Edge of Tomorrow, whichever version of that movie you got, story, but sure, okay. I thought it was interesting. It looks like it's going to be way more gritty. Yeah, I'm interested to see how it is. I don't know if I'd play it maybe, but it seems like an interesting concept.
I need to see. I think to be sold, I need to see more just proper gameplay.
I'd love to know if there is procedurally generated aspects to this, because in the trailer she did mention that the world seems to change with me each time I die. So I'd love to know if there is that kind of randomness to this game. I think that would be a really interesting element.
As of recording, I couldn't find any like follow-up information available online, but maybe a bit later Housemarque will have something. But yeah, I did wonder if the stuff about the dying coming back and all that is simply a narrative thing, or that actually ties into the gameplay. And it's like a roguelike, I guess, at that point, like
yes, yeah, exactly,
coming back in and whatever else. So next game they showed off, quite surprising to be honest, but Sackboy Big Adventure. It is a single player and co-op gameplay with up to 4 players was shown during it. And honestly, it's just kind of, I thought this looked great, but at the same time couldn't help but be watching it and be like, because Ratchet and Clank's one thing, but then having this was the most of all the games where I'm like, wow, they are just like kind of trying to cover all spectrums, and this is the most like PS2 type feely thing, which is weird to say, of course, when if this was a Mario game, it would just be fine. Like, exactly. But Nintendo just kind of do their own thing with Mario and Luigi games and whatever else. But I was like, cool, they're really trying to cover the family angle, and it's really weird how you have this game and Ratchet and Clank, and then later on we have like Horizon and Resident Evil and whatever else. It's like we're just covering all spectrums, and it was quite good to see this because, of course, Media Molecule moved on to Dreams, and it was kind of like, oh, it's like Sackboy dead now, Sackboy over, considering there was the PS3 generation, Sackboy was kind of being pushed as the the main
The
sort of new
mascot.
cute mascot of the PlayStation brand, and then it was like, okay, is that gone and over? But no, they're like, cool, Sackboy is coming back in a big way, and this just looked like a generally good, fun, old school sort of platformer, and I'm looking forward to playing this one. Buddy, what'd you make of this one?
This made me perk up and made me go, oh, okay, so they're actually doing something different instead of just announcing sequels to all their big first-party, third-person action games like God of War, Spider-Man, Horizon, all these mature adult type franchise. I'm like, okay, we're going to get a Ratchet and Clank, but that's probably all they'll give you. And then I saw Sackboy and I'm like, whoa, okay, I was super surprised. And then building on top of that later on in the presentation with the Astrobot stuff as well, I'm like, this is really good that they're having a diverse approach and committing to that and having more family-friendly options. They're kind of addressing, I don't know if it's an indirect or directly addressing Nintendo and kind of what they target, and Microsoft maybe not having those games and trying to get the best of both worlds and get all the markets that they can. So I was impressed with it, and the demo looks really cool. I can't wait to get it.
Did you play Little Big Planet 3?
No. So I don't care for Little Big Planet, but this 3D world top-down type thing appeals to me way more than what that ever did. Yeah, and I'm always put off by the creation elements in those type of games. Same with Super Mario Maker. I'm not creative at all. So just give me the levels, give me the story, I'll play it. Because
this one, Sackboy Big Adventure, has been made by Sumo Digital, who did Little Big Planet 3, not Meter Molecule. Yep. And 3 got mixed critical response, we'll say. But the important thing about 3 was that was the one where they tried to introduce a bunch of different types of characters, and they tried to expand the overall Little Big Planet lore, I guess. So it kind of makes sense that they're now just like they got let out of the box of the confines of having to make the like play, create, share with Little Big Planet 3, and now they're just like, we want to create like a cool game with these characters and without all of that bullshit. And although they didn't confirm it, would be highly, highly, highly surprised, because it would make no sense if this game has any sort of creationist creating aspects to it. It wouldn't make any sense with Dreams out there. Ash, what'd you make of this?
No, yeah, it makes sense. Obviously, to pivot that property, I guess, to take Sackboy and put it in something different when you've got all the people who did creation type stuff in the Little Big Planet probably have moved on to Dreams where they've got a bigger tool set to create different things. I got like Yoshi's Woolly World vibes from this, obviously because of the world being very artistic and that kind of things and crafty. But yeah, I think it's cool. It'll be a good, fun little adventure to play through.
Yeah,
big adventure.
I'm hoping this is launch as well, because I just think
I'd imagine it screams launch. I think
tick a box. This is like the equivalent. This is, if we don't have Knack, we got Sackboy.
Yeah, this is the Knack equivalent, I think.
Yeah, but better, let's.
He actually Sackboy actually unzips and Knack pops out from inside. He's been Knack the whole time.
Knack is your sidekick in this.
What a way to
He's unlockable.
He's an unlockable character.
I've suddenly been turned off this game quite a bit. Kieran, do you care for Sackboy? Do you care for Sacks?
I didn't care for this game until the co-op elements came into it. And then I was like, you know what? 4-player in this game could be really fun and really funny. Of just hanging out with friends. Something that's not overly challenging, that's just hanging out, playing around, messing around, knocking people off the edge of maps just for the, the fun of it. I think it'd be really interesting and really fun to play through. I'd like to see if the 4-player stuff is a bit of a different campaign to the 1-player kind of the single-player game, or if they're the same thing but it just gets expanded a lot more. I think it's really interesting.
The one thing I do hope for this, I'll say, is, and I know this is like a general consensus for Little Big Planet games, but a lot of people, myself included, was never a huge fan of the floaty jumping that those games contained, and it kind of worked when you was playing single player, and the platforming wasn't too like intense, like it had a lot of leeway for it. But if they're making this, and this is like a proper like sort of platforming game, I'm hoping they've toned down on how floaty the characters feel and go. So the next thing they showed was Destruction All Stars, which is basically Destruction Derby, but in the future with more destruction and a bit more cartoony, I guess, is the way to go about this.
And you can get out of the cars.
Was that a thing, or was that just like a cinematic?
No, that seemed to be a thing that they showed multiple times throughout. It was people running around and jumping over the cars and like moving between cars and stuff like that. It doesn't seem like if you lose your car, you've lost. It seems like maybe
still an
once
off-person's
you lose
car.
your car, you could still kind of run around and try and grab a different car or try and mess with somebody else's. Or when I was watching, I had the image of playing in teams and like your teammate would come by and you jump on the back of their car. Like just stuff like that could be really fun in a multiplayer game.
Yeah, so this is being developed by Lucid Games, who previously have worked on Need for Speed Payback, and
That's
nothing much else of note. I don't know,
No,
like a
just
bunch of
helping out.
ports. Yeah, a bunch of ports and these sorts of things. Geometry Wars 3 Dimensions. There you go.
Oh.
Go for it. Buddy, what'd you make of this? You said hashtag buddy game.
That's right, yeah. Hashtag buddy game. Looks like all these elements of Rocket League in this kind of arena type game. Destruction Derby was one of my favorite games on PlayStation 1. The fact that you get out of the car and having that Kieran mentioned as well, and this seems like some kind of competitive environment. I'm all for it. I had a few messages get sent my way when this popped up. Go, there's a bit of buddy in this game, so absolutely correct. Looks cool.
I like how anyone sees like a car arena type
buddy.
thing. It's like it's a buddy.
A car not on a track, then here it's a buddy game.
Yeah, car not track. It's Gran Turismo.
Put that
Get out
on-
of here. Get rid of the
Yeah,
Put
track.
that on a t-shirt.
Buddy game. Ash, do you like destruction?
Yeah, who doesn't like destruction? I mean, as long as if it can get more burnout vibes, I guess I may be a bit more interested. There's very little to go on. I mean, it looks interesting. The art style is cool. The characters look interesting. I don't know how much that's going to play into it, but yeah, if it's the destruction derby battle royale that I've been asking for a while, it'll be good.
Yeah, it could be fun. I was never a big Destruction Derby fan on PS1. Like I played it, but never got my socks off for it. But maybe. So the next thing was Kenna Bridge of Spirits. As I wrote in my notes here, 100% Cuties approved game.
That's what I wrote down. Hashtag cuties game of the show.
When the little creature came on, I literally said "fucking cutie."
They look,
It was
they
like,
look like
my
some nice
God.
Poor cousins to me, you know.
Yes.
Oh goodness!
No, they look like
Chewie away
from
from
Doctor
them.
Who, those white whatever creatures.
Oh
from that
yeah,
one episode.
yeah. That's a good pull actually. Yeah, for your Doctor Who references. So they on the Josh Greer, the CEO at Ember Lab, who's developing this little indie team, said that Kenna Bridge of Spirits is a story-driven action adventure set in a charming world rich with exploration and fast-paced combat. Players find and grow a team of tiny spirit companions called the Rot. Not so cutie's name, but it's fine. Enhancing their abilities and creating new ways to manipulate the environment. Working with the support of Sony and the next-gen features of the PS5 gave us the opportunity to expand the immersive experience we envision and enhance the game's unique play mechanics. So this team of Ember Lab, as they announced, said right before they showed off the game, they had previously worked in like film and animation, and they'd mostly been involved in like sort of short animation projects for advertisements and all these other sorts of stuff, and they've stepped into the world of video game making in a big way of this, because this was, to me, this is definitely one of my favorite things of the show, and I think also one of the definitely one of the best looking things. Also, I absolutely adore the art style for this, and once again, this kind of screamed old school game vibe. In a lot of ways, this game was reminding me a lot of Beyond Good and Evil, playing it, watching me play it, to me, like the combat and then like the puzzles and venturing around and whatever else. So yeah, I'm 100% down for this. Ash, what do you think of this?
Yeah, I mean, it looks beautiful. Obviously, they come from like an animation and film background, so that makes sense that it looks incredible. Yeah, it definitely feels like old school action adventure platformer kind of game. So yeah, I'd be keen to check it out.
Yeah, Kieran.
This is I agree with you, this is one of my most exciting games from this showcase. It captured for me something that I haven't felt with gaming since I was a kid, where you used to go into, the game shop and look at PlayStation 2 games, and you would look at Jak and Daxter before you'd ever play it, and you just had no idea what this could be, or you had you just had no kind of preconceived idea of what's going to happen. It's a fresh new world, and that's really exciting for me in this game. Like, that's really exciting that this can capture that kind of delight and curiosity that doesn't often happen in games, because games get, shown, and often as gamers now that we've, been playing games for most of our lives, we go, oh, that's kind of like this game, or that's kind of like this game. And I guess you could do that with, there is, when I did think of Pikmin a little bit when I saw the little creatures, you gathering them and using them. But at the same time, I was like, this is something that feels new and interesting to explore, and I'm really excited that is happening with this generation of gaming.
Buddy?
I agree with all that. Looks fantastic. Bow and arrow in a game. Yeah, sold.
It's not really a bow, it's like a staff that she somehow can shoot arrows from, but it's fine.
Magic arrows.
It's funny, actually, when I saw the bow and arrow thing, I was like, damn, does that mean no horizon? Like,
I actually had that in my mind. I'm like, oh, is this a kid's version of Horizon? Is that Aloy? I'm like, I saw her hair color. I'm like, maybe her hair color changes later on. I'm not sure. But then I saw the little cuties. I'm like, no, this is not it.
no. Although it does look like it's a I guess similar sort of thing where she's fighting these monsters or whatever, and then they show like when she kills one of these golem things or whatever, the little creatures drop out of it, and then like a bunch of forest returns to the ground and whatever else. So environmental message, I guess again with this game and Horizon, both of them.
Is this a Studio Ghibli?
Maybe it is a Studio Ghibli game.
Awesome.
Yeah. So next thing was called Goodbye Volcano High. This one got a 2021 release date. It's being developed by Co-op, or Co_op, however you want to say it. So they said Goodbye Volcano High is a cinematic choice-based narrative game set in the final years of school for a bunch of dinosaur teens on the cusp of graduation and the rest of their lives. They also announced that Lachlan Watson from The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina will be voicing the main character. I think, personally, this looks pretty cool. I'm 100% down for this. My only question I had watching the trailer was, I was like, are these supposed to be heaps of different creatures? Like, what am I calling these things? But now that I know they're dinosaurs, I'm good.
I thought they were pretty obviously
Nope,
dinosaurs.
not
Except for
me.
like one of them. One of them, I was like, are you like some kind of like supposed to be like some relation to like a saber-toothed tiger or something? But the rest of it, I was like, oh yeah, that's a pterodactyl. That's like just a normal.
I'm not sure if it's a mix though, but yeah, I mean, it's an interesting choice. I think obviously because it looks like obviously the story is a very human story. It's about teens going through like the end of high school, and it's
don't take that away from it. It's a very dinosaur story.
well, maybe that too. You know,
don't input our freaking race on them. Gosh,
maybe that too. So it's an interesting choice to be like, well, we won't do it with human-looking characters. We'll do it with dinosaur-based characters, and we'll go with that sort of thing. But I'm 100% about this. I don't know if there's a furry equivalent for maybe.
Oh no,
Scalies.
Scalies? Oh, yeah, maybe. Maybe I don't want to go too far ahead of myself and say I'm a scaly, but maybe by the time I get to the end of this game, I'll fall in love all over again. I've got a new favorite girlfriend boyfriend character. Who knows what kind of person I'm going to become by the time I come out the end of this game as a scaly. But yeah, I thought this looked great, and the art style was fantastic as well. Very, 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 very beautiful and unique art style for sure. Ash, what do you think of this? Are you scaly or what?
Not committing just yet. Yeah, obviously it stood out to everything else being 2D, almost 80s-esque animation. Yeah, a very different game to everything else, like a progressive, narrative-driven story, like visual novel almost.
Yes, well, essentially, I kind of skipped over it. I forgot the reason they cast Lachlan Watson. Lachlan, is it? Sorry. I keep saying it
I think so,
wrong.
yeah.
Yeah. You'd know. I stopped watching Children's Adventures of Sabrina. Sorry. But the reason they cast them in the main role, the main character is because the main character is a non-binary character, so they cast a non-binary person to play the lead role. So, yeah. That's how we go.
Yeah, so sounds good.
Kieran. Scaly?
This gave me this gave me Life is
Not a
Strange
no.
vibes. Like before Life is Strange like originally came out, I had the same feeling. Clearly they're building up to they're gonna get hit by the comet or the asteroid that killed the dinosaur.
Oh my god, you've blown my mind. What the fuck?
Clearly that is the build up to this game, is that the
comet's
'cause even
on
with
in the logo.
Yeah, the comet's on the logo.
Oh my
so
God.
clearly they're building to the comet killing everything.
Right.
So I think that's a very interesting narrative premise to be going into.
Yeah.
Like we're doing this prehistoric style game that has, real like modern world aspects to it, where they're telling how the dinosaurs all got wiped out. Like that's so interesting. So I'm in.
Yeah, I was already in, but you've just now that you've pointed out this that I did not notice. You've just blown my mind, and that is some fucked up shit. So I'm gonna not only am
The twist is they don't die.
not only am I going to become scaly by playing this game, I'm going to fall in love. I'm going to go through life as a dinosaur high school student, and then they're going to kill all my new favorite characters by a fucking meteorite. What the fuck? This is fucked up. Buddy, are you a scaly or what?
I'm definitely not a scaly. No chance. But this game looks amazing. Different vibe to the rest of the trailers shown. Everything that Kieran said, I agree with about the Life is Strange vibes. I also had that theory about the meteor killing everyone. I loved that the tagline in the trailer was "End of an Era," and I'm like, well, they're obviously trying to allude to end of the era as the high school thing, but then there's also this overarching thing that the dinosaurs getting wiped out, and that's just dark as fuck. And then you just marry that up with the cartoon aesthetic of it, but then all the sadness, depression, anxiety, and all these kind of teen worries teen worries of all the things that high school thing brings, and then layer that with everything else. Hashtag buddy game for sure. So
Yeah, I
make
mean,
it
makes
episodic.
sense thematically.
Make it 5 episodes episodic. Let's do it.
Yeah.
The depth of Dylan's just mind explosion that's happened on this show, part of me is kind of disappointed because part of me would love to have heard the day that Dylan's like, I'm excited for this to come out and I'm excited to see its sequel. And the rest of us just be like, ugh, are we going to tell him now? Or that's no
You don't know. They could live.
They know.
Don't know why they
They use their time manipulation powers to save.
Yeah,
everybody.
bay or bay.
30 seconds to the end of our lives,
Is it going to have a save Bay or Bay moment? Again?
Force
Oh,
powers
no.
to prevent it from hitting the planet.
Maybe.
They get on a spaceship and go to a different planet.
Maybe. Mars. Go for it. But no, it does look great. And also super depressing now that everyone's pointed it out to me. But that's fine. That's fine.
Potentially.
It's fine. So next thing was Oddworld Soulstorm. Lorne Lanning introduced this, so we do know the OGs involved in making this Oddworld game. In the PS blog post he wrote, in Oddworld Soulstorm, you pick up where New and Tasty left off. Abe has undergone an unwanted transformation from being a clueless Madokan cog, literally about to be chewed up by the Glunkins, big business machine, into an unlikely hero, a beacon of hope. So I got to admit, I wasn't super into this. I'm not super into the Oddworld franchise. I played the original on PS1 back in the day. I hated it as a kid because it was too hard and it used to give me the fucking shits. So I used to just make all the characters fart and I found that hilarious, but I could never beat the game. So I've always just kind of held this grudge against it because I couldn't. I asked my dad for help and he couldn't beat it either. So I've had childhood trauma brought on by the Oddworld franchise, and now I just watch this. I'm like, no, get out of my life. Kieran, do you like farting?
I love farting. It's better than being a scaly. But I'd like just if we already had kind of, wow, this is giving us vibes of PS2. the game, Sony said, like, okay, guys, time for a real throwback. Let's get Oddworld on potentially as launch on a new console. It's like, sure, I'm not like I'm very much in the same vein as Dylan. I remember trying to play the original and it being extremely hard, and just having an appreciation from a distance for Oddworld and Abe's Odyssey for being like, that's cool. That's like kind of a gaming staple at that point, but. Yeah, I'm interested. I'm excited to see people speedrun this game and for people who get really good at these kind of games to play it and watch it that way.
Buddy, Oddworld?
There's not going to be enough time nor disposable income to be able to fit this into any kind of gaming schedule, especially with the type of gameplay that a game like this has. And it's, I think, a little bit dated with that type of gameplay or niche. I feel like it's all these turn-based RPGs that are now hack and slash real-time stuff. This feels like it feels that type of game back from then, same type of gameplay stuff, just not evolved. It's not really for me. I'm sure there's a big market out there that love that and love the Oddworld franchise, but just I really liked it on PlayStation 1. I don't see myself ever playing any more of it though. Got my fix back then, and yeah, happy for the people that are going to enjoy this. But yeah, it's once again, it's cool for the diversity of the lineup.
Yeah, agree. Ash.
Yeah, same sentiment. Not for me, but good. Happy it's there. Potentially interesting story that they're hinting at. They're timely, potentially involving slavery and that kind of thing. So yeah.
Yep.
What a connection.
Ashley is not afraid to go
just
beyond whatever.
We just talked about a bunch of dinosaurs being slaughtered by a meteorite.
Yeah, in the game they're ripping Dokken statues.
Wow. So yeah. I will say for it that they definitely made the trailer try and look more action packed than like, because in the original it would be like you'd accidentally just make one of your people or yourself like fall down a trapdoor or whatever. In this one they're like burnt, bunch of shit explodes, like shooting at, like they definitely tried to make it seem more next gen-y or whatever, but I agree with what Buddy said. It's just it's the general gameplay design still just feels very old school. So yeah. So next they showed Ghostwire Tokyo. For gameplay, first time, of course, the big game from E3 last year, whatever her name was.
Spooky.
Yeah, spooky. It's very
Ikumi
spooky.
Nakamura.
That's close enough, I think. But this did reveal that it is console exclusive to PS5. It's coming to PC as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go. Big boom. On the PlayStation blog afterwards, they wrote, Tokyo has become a city under siege, underwhelmed by paranormal threats beyond our understanding after a devastating occult event leads to the disappearance of 99% of the city's population. Only you stand between the loss of this great city and its salvation. After the vanishing, a strange encounter causes your own supernatural abilities to take shape. Explore a beautiful city that blends ultra-modern cityscapes and stunning ancient shrines as you purge the darkness from your home. Armed with a bevy of formidable, upgradable powers, you'll face off against evil spirits referred to as the Visitors, haunting the city of Tokyo. Also in the PlayStation blog post, they'd spent a good chunk of time talking about the fact that 3D audio will enhance this game because you'll be able to hear like spooky things off to this direction and off this direction, and they say that's going to be really good to play like that. I will say that it looked fine, but I definitely wasn't, after all the build up for this game, I didn't think the gameplay shown was anything as mind-blowing or even as unique as I'd kind of hoped. In a lot of ways it kind of looked like an arcade game, which is interesting because of course we have a arcade game coming up with Deathloop quite shortly, but that's what watching this was reminding me of. And it was like, it looked like a lot of magic. Like, I know they're saying you have like supernatural abilities, but it looked like he was kind of casting spells and this sort of shit. Buddy, what did you make of Ghostwire Tokyo?
It looks like a random Japanese game that just drops on a Tuesday, on a random Tuesday that's just finally being localized or something that's hit or miss. I understand it's alpha gameplay or whatever, but the world was just you first person and the enemy in front of you and kind of showcasing, I guess, what the combat was, but still felt really slow. So I would be surprised if we see this game anytime soon. I guess the premise and the trailer that we saw when it first was revealed doesn't really match up to the kind of the hype and how it was kind of sold. I have a feeling this is going to be a much smaller game than what we all think, or we've all been led to believe from the announcements that we've seen. So
fair. Yeah. That was a hot take. Maybe it was a hot take. I don't know. Kieran, what do you think?
I was super disappointed.
No, it wasn't a hot take.
I was super disappointed by this because when the initial gameplay trailer dropped, the announcement trailer dropped, I was super interested in this kind of suspense-filled, kind of creepy, tense kind of world that they were building. And I was like, cool, awesome. I'm really interested to play it. Like almost like a bit more than an Outlast, like having a little bit more control over what's going on than Outlast. But then it kind of showed all these superpowers, and I was like, oh, this isn't going to be my cup of tea. Like I've really like learned to love horror games, but when like I have this kind of this barometer of where I like them, where it's like, I don't like Outlast where you have no way of doing anything. You just have to run away and hide. I hate those kind of games. I love the games that you have kind of minimal resources and you have weaponry that you can use, but it's kind of limited and it's very survival almost. But then these kind of quote-unquote horror games where you have these kind of mystical powers just kind of takes all the horror out of the game and takes all the tension and all that kind of on the edge of your seat feeling from the game that I'm just not interested in. It just seemed very random and just kind of wasted a lot of the potential that this game seemed to have.
Ash?
I mean, it looks fine. It feels like an anime. I think like something like a Bleach or a Blue Exorcist or something. You know, like story wise, like person taking out all these spirits that other people can't see and that kind of thing. I think probably the biggest story is that this is a PS5 exclusive, as well as the other Bethesda game.
Bethesda seems to be very in partnership with freaking PlayStation here.
Yeah,
which, considering how closely they've been with Microsoft previously, is
Elder Scrolls 6 exclusive to PS5.
Nah, fuck off. Shut up already.
No
Get
chance on
here.
that. No chance of that. It needs to be on every single screen possible. Yeah. I mean, it looks fine, but I mean, it wouldn't have surprised me if you told me this was a tie-in to some sort of anime or something.
Yeah. It all sounds like we're pretty meh on it, but maybe it'll get turned around if they show a better gameplay video or just like a 20-minute just proper gameplay demo where you can get a full feel of what playing the game moment to moment feels like, and that might be more interesting than what was actually just shown here, which was mostly just a bunch of shots of combat happening, and it was like, oh, this doesn't look super enthralling, but yeah. So maybe if you're exploring the city and they show that, and that could help explain how spooky it feels, and then when you get into combat, it's just like really intense or something. What?
Spooky.
Oh, sorry, you gotta say spooky every time.
I was going to say, let's kick it over to Ashley, our horror representative for the
It's
Explosion
spooky.
Network.
Yeah, he's one that saw. He went and played Resident
Yeah, I
Evil
don't like
12 pack.
scary games. I'm okay with spooky.
Yeah, you wouldn't play The Last of Us.
It's not spooky. It's scary.
Is it?
So next
That's
thing,
just tense.
yeah, intense. The next thing was called Jet the Fast Shore. This is being directed by, developed by Super Brothers, directed. Fucking hell. So Craig D. Adams wrote on the PS blog for this one. We've had a strong focus on audio and haptics since we carved out Jet the Fast Shore's concept. So, of course, we're thrilled about the DualSense controller. As for what the PS5 uniquely offers in terms of 3D audio processing, it's revolutionary, and it's a great fit for Jet the Far Shore. This may sound silly, but with the PS5, it's as if you really have ears in a video game for the first time. There is suddenly an unprecedented fidelity available for perceiving audio spaces. And he also went on to explain that how audio will be a big part of this, and how, like, because the gameplay they showed, it didn't really explain or give away much what this game is, but it seems like you're just going to be sort of traveling at times And when the audio is going to become a big part of it, music-wise, and also just audio cues, where you're going to be able to hear like, oh, there's something over here, or like over here, or behind me, or whatever else. And apparently, audio is going to be a big part of this game. I thought the trailer was interesting for this. It shows, of course, like people leaving or whatever, when you're on like some, I guess, alien planet, some like 1,000 years into the future, or whatever the hell's going on. But gameplay-wise, I didn't fully grasp what the hell you're going to be doing. I am intrigued to know more because the developer sold me in this blog post just talking about 3D audio being a big part of it. And I kind of want, with 3D audio being such a big thing for PS5, I'm like, if someone's going to really go, this is a big part of our game, I'll be likely to check it out, especially if it's out in the launch period, because I'm like, okay, if it's a big part of your game, I will play your game because I want to see that. Show me how that's a big part of your game. But Buddy, what do you make of this thing?
Definitely super keen on this. Insert Matthew McConaughey gif from crying.
Yeah, okay.
I had that vibes specifically going over that kind of water planet, I guess, that happened in the trailer and all that. It had a real journey type vibe to it. And it was good to see that we're starting to see a few more indie games pop up in this showcase, and Sony have that, I guess, that support for indies again. I was starting to get reassured that these really creative experiences were not going to be locked from me and from only having a PlayStation console. So very keen for this. Very keen.
It's what Shuhei's been up to,
Yeah.
Getting all these indies to come around. Kieran.
This was the most indie of indie games on this kind of showcase. And I was super confused by the end of this trailer. I didn't really know what I had just watched. I think for me to kind of have any judgment, I kind of need to see more about what the actual game is before I can really be like, yeah, I'll play it, or no, not for me. I think I'm just a little bit, it's a bit out there for me at the minute.
Ash?
Yeah, same sentiment. I think it looks pretty, but what the game-to-game, moment-to-moment gameplay is going to be, not quite sure, and whether it's for me or not. Yeah,
I'm wondering for.
Also, is it too spooky?
Yeah, I'm wondering for some of these indie ones if it might. I don't know if it'd be too soon to see some of these again on Sunday during either the Guerrilla Collective or the Future Game Showcase, since both of those are indie showcase events primarily. So maybe some of these things could pop up very soon. Maybe they'll just release gameplay soon to expand across stuff. Most of these teams for these indie games, I looked on their Twitter just before I started recording, and a lot of them are like, more to share soon, more to share soon, more to share soon. It's like, how soon? Because
there's no shortage of events for them to pop up.
That's true. That's very true. So next thing was Godfall gameplay video. It's coming holiday 2020. I got not much to say about this. It looked like the game it looked like that game.
Yeah.
It looked like that game Godfall. Ash?
Yeah, I didn't remember if it was a Gearbox game or not. I didn't realize or hadn't noticed.
Yeah.
It definitely looks like a serious take on Melee Borderlands potentially.
Yeah. The picture's always been it's Destiny or Borderlands, but like with
Melee.
only 3 people in Melee. But
the thing
you're going to be looting.
It tried to say, an amazing array of weapons or an interesting array of weapons, and it showed like 3 or 4 weapons and none of them were interesting. I was kind of like, okay, that's a sword, that's a spear.
They're all melee weapons.
What do you want them to pull out?
No, but like I was, expecting more, almost like Borderlands having that flair to their weapons where the weapons aren't just a shotgun. It's something.
I don't think it's developed.
But again, it's a tonal thing. They're going a more serious route, so it's hard to be creative and out of the box.
But they have these like fucking like space age like fucking gladiator Spartan-esque armors. Why don't they have weapons that kind of have that kind of majesty to them? Like have that kind of
because they've used all the metal on the armor.
So it's the developer is Counterplay Games, who have only done one game before, which I've never heard of. So, but Gearbox is publishing it. So that's why you're not seeing Borderlands level stuff, because it's not developed by Gearbox. They're just publishing it.
Oh no, I just mean like just having some like they want to focus on the weapons, but I need something more from the weapons if you're gonna put that kind of focus on them. Like have some kind of flashiness to them.
Buddy.
quick, put a hip hop track behind it and make it look cooler than what it is. Assassin's Creed launch. Yeah, totally changed the vibe of any of the other footage that I've seen from this before. So, meh.
It was an E3 trailer.
Yeah, E3 trailer.
Yeah.
It did nothing for me.
Yep, it did nothing for me either. And that's where we'll leave that one. So, and I may or may not even care to play it. It's not like I hate it. I'm just saying this trailer I thought was kind of bad because
You'll play it. There'll be a review up on Explosion.
Look, if
You'll play it.
there's nothing else going on, they send me a fucking code. I'll review your game probably. But this trailer annoyed me because of the music. I was like, fuck's sake, like you've got this kind of cool setting potentially and whatever else, and you're going to put this music behind it. You can tell it's Gearbox because every fucking Borderlands trailer for Borderlands 3 was like fucking cool. Let's do that again for this. Yeah, cool. Moving on. So next thing was Solar Ash. This game had been announced previously, but this was our, I think, biggest look we've had it. Definitely not the biggest look on a big platform. Of course, it's in the PS5 event, so that's a pretty big deal. It's the next game from the developer of Hyperlight Drifter. It's coming in 2021. Looks cool. Didn't blow me away. Didn't really see too much. But I'm intrigued because Hyperlight Drifter, although I never played it, was always one of those games that I wanted to play it and always thought it looked cool. Which is kind of like how I would feel about the fuck. Remember that roguelike that everyone loved? The one that
Dead Cells.
What?
Not Dead Cells.
Yeah, Dead Cells. Same.
Yeah.
Like this
Dead
is how I feel.
Cells?
Like I never played Dead Cells, but if Dead Cells developers put out a new game, I'd be like, I'm intrigued because it always looked cool.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about this.
Yes.
Buddy, what do you think of this?
Yeah, super keen. I did play Hyperlight Drifter. I never finished it. I think it got a little bit too repetitive and the color palette was all the same for too much and there wasn't as much variety as what I expected in it. But the fact that they built off that, and when they said from Hyperlight Drifter, I'm so glad it wasn't a top-down open world dungeon crawler and just this much more of the same, and to see it actually be this kind of 3D world and have the same kind of aesthetic and vibe, I'm much more intrigued.
Yeah, it looks like the same. It looks like a spiritual successor, I guess. It's like we'll take sort of the same kind of gameplay systems, but build upon them and fix a lot of the criticisms that people had. And straight away in the trailer, you could see it definitely wasn't all one color palette. So that's a plus straight away. Ash.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty. Not a lot to go on, so yeah, not much more to add.
So, Kieran.
I was much the same as you, Dylan. When the character kind of appeared on the screen, I got it immediately had the same kind of art style and character design as the Dead Cell characters. And I was instantly like, okay, I'm interested. Let's see what this is. And it had like an interesting premise and perspective to the game. So sure, I'll give it a try when it comes out.
Next thing was Hitman 3. It's coming in January 2020. I wrote 2021, but it's actually 2020. 2021. That's right. I fucking forgot what year it is. That's crazy. Like, it's like between the pandemic and the end of the world and whatever. What year is it? No, 2021's next year, everyone, in case you didn't know. January 2021 for PlayStation 5 and PS4. Presume it's going to come to more, but that's all they've put so far. And so Hitman 3 is a conclusion to the World of Assassination trilogy, and it's going to allow players to carry over locations and progression from Hitman 2 into Hitman 3, and they're going to have the entire trilogy playable from within Hitman 3 to make it the ultimate place to play any game from the trilogy. So they're continuing that thing they did with Hitman 2, and they're going to do it for Hitman 3, which is fucking insane to me. And this looked really cool, even though I really liked Hitman 1. I never played 2 for whatever reason. I'm hopefully dive back in for this one. The thing that will make me dive in day one, if you're listening, developers, put a fucking platinum in your game, and don't do this weird trophy system with fucking things broken up in the DLC bags. Yeah, no. Get the fuck out of here. Buddy, you played 2 for a little bit and all that, didn't you?
I reckon I would religiously play Hitman 1 and 2 and go through and try and 100% and complete everything if it had a platinum trophy instead of just mastering 1 or 2 chapters and then falling away from the game. Yep. Would totally keep me engaged. Yes, that is my psychological problem, whatever. But the Hitman games are fantastic, and number 2 was great, especially the kind of the opening level, the F1 level, the variations that they have in their settings has been fantastic from 1 to 2, and opening with the little snippet that they showed of Dubai, I'm totally in on this. I'll get this one for sure.
It's funny because what you said is that not to go stuck on the trophy thing, but it is a legit complaint because these games are they design them for replayability and for players to go back in and like complete the same missions in different ways and whatever. And sure, some players are able to just do that. Like they have fun doing that without a carrot on the end of the stick to do it. But for people like us, we want the fucking carrot, you know? And like if there's not the trophies and the platinum.
I'm Bugs Bunny here. Give it to me.
Yeah, come on. Kieran.
You know what? This is the first out of 2 or 3 trailers where I'm like, guys, whoever directed this or put this together, you're like one step away from this trailer being fucking awesome. Like, if they didn't have that section at the very start where they had the IO interactive sign and then it kind of did like the black and white flash through all the Hitman stuff, and like if they had just gone into the opening start of that trailer and nobody knew it was going to be Hitman, and then you have that moment where, freaking Agent
47.
47, thank you. Agent 47.
Agent 69.
I know.
You're Agent 49.
Agent 47
69
comes
over
into
here, Jesus Christ.
Fucking leave me alone. And then Agent 47 comes into view. I'd be like, that's a hype trailer.
Yeah.
Like, that's a hype trailer. Just with that tweak. But as a whole, the fact that all of their games are going to be available, because I for whatever reason, the same as Dylan, just didn't play Hitman 2. Fuck yeah, I'll play them. I loved Hitman. I loved Hitman 1. So let's jump in and I can play all of the missions on my PlayStation 5 where it probably going to load a bunch better and there's probably going to be a bunch easier to jump in between different sections. It's going to be so much fun to play in, and it would be interesting to see how they kind of utilize the PlayStation 5's capabilities to make the worlds even more interactive and even more kind of diverse going forward for their later levels of Hitman 3.
Ash?
I mean, because it's on PS4 as well, I don't think there's going to be that much of a difference. But yeah, I've never been a Hitman person. I mean, the trailer was good. I think Kieran hit the nail on the head. If they had have made it more of a reveal instead of having that flashback part at the section start, that would have been really cool. I think I must have missed it because I was tweeting something because I don't think I saw that bit. So it was a surprise to me.
Yes.
But I mean, it's good. More Hitman, make the people happy. It's good to see IO obviously being very successful after their troubles for Square Enix and that kind of stuff. So yeah, really good.
Next thing was Astro's Playroom. I'm hoping / assuming that this is just going to be a launch like demo type thing that they've had before with the
like PS5
Playroom things or whatever they are.
Yes,
I couldn't tell because it looked like a full on like non VR version of Astrobot's Adventure.
There were elements.
Yeah,
like the monkey. I don't think it's the same monkey as though.
No, so it's very very confusing. Either way, I'll play it, but I'm not sure if it's a full game or just like a small demo pack thing. Buddy, what do you reckon?
With the Astrobot?
Yeah,
it's been confirmed that it's preloaded on and free on every PS5.
Okay. There you go.
Yep. So yeah, that'll be cool. Everyone will get to experience it. And all the people that will complain about, that's U2 Songs of Innocence preloaded on every... Save yourself. You can delete it.
There you go. Yeah, so it's a demo type thing. Cool. I hope it has trophies still because...
Oh my God. Fucking addicts.
What? The last...
You got any of the trophies, bros? You got any of the trophies?
Damn right. The last Playrooms all had trophies. So I hope this one has fucking platinum.
Here we go. Here's some more news for you. Explore 4 worlds, each based on PlayStation 5's console components, Sony explained. Each area showcases innovative gameplay that taps into the new features of the PS5's DualSense wireless controller.
Yeah. So there's going to be a level about the SSD hard drive. There's going to be a level about the 3D audio. It's going to be great.
There's going to be one level that's going to be ray tracing everywhere. It's going to be like, whoa, look at all this ray tracing.
Everything is shiny.
Welcome to the mirror dimension of Astro.
That's gonna be my favorite level.
Is that Knack?
Not even gonna lie, that's my favorite level. Alright, so this all sounds cool, it's a free thing. We can all play this, cool. 10 out of Next thing was Little Devil Inside. I think personally, this. Oh, I don't know. Maybe this may be tied for my actual favorite trailer. This was hilarious. Absolutely my type of humor. The jokes, Kieran's type of humor, because I'm pretty sure this is a fucking British game. And then,
I wish I didn't like this now. I wish I didn't like this as much as I do.
I'm pretty sure also this is Bloodborne 2, because it just has this character fighting all these giant monsters and stuff. They do. I mean, I don't really understand what's happening in this trailer. You've got a character going out on an adventure. You've got this his butler or dad or whatever. I fucking don't know, at home, like having the bar, dropping a log. This looks great. I love the art style. I love the humor. I'm all about this. And this trailer was just put together perfectly to the point that I was like, this is great. This is an absolutely fantastic trailer. I can watch this again. This trailer in whole. Buddy, what do you think of Little Devil?
Really good variation in gameplay by the look of it, and really funny humor. So, yeah, I liked it.
10 out of 10. Ash?
Yeah, great trailer. Hit tonally really interesting. Apparently it's a Kickstarter game from back in, I want to say 2015. There's no clear date on this page, but yeah, it looks great. Looks like it'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, that trailer put together perfectly. Comic timing of the bomb dropping. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Karen?
No, I hate this game and I don't want anything to do with it. No, this was so much fun. Even just at the start, the humor wasn't obvious. Like, there was lots of little bits where, like, you know, just the character's reaction to him, like, running away from stuff, and there was a couple moments of him just being like, why am I in this situation? Just by his facial expressions and the way he was acting. It seems to be you play as like maybe a Lord's hunter or something, that you'll go out and hunt for this Lord and bring him back stuff. While the Lord lives a very kind of relaxed and bored lifestyle. I'm super excited for it. I think it looks really interesting. I hope the gameplay is just as fun as the humor to this game, because it looks like this world's got a whole lot of character to it. And I want to take you all out for some schmeat, as was on the butcher's sign. Yeah. I was very interested with what schmeat was.
Thank you. I'll enjoy my schmeat. So the next thing was NBA. I think we can skip that, right? Like, no one gives a...
No, just quickly. This is my other direction point for anybody making a trailer or an interview with a sports athlete. Give them some direction where they look at the fucking camera and like talk into the camera, not talk into like some weird fucking angle.
I'm pretty sure he shot that on his Nokia 2800 on the toilet or
like
something along those lines.
I'm like 100%. I get it. COVID-19, the pandemic's put some strains on people doing stuff like this. But just a little bit of direction of fine-tuning with your camera work there, please.
You ain't ready for this.
Or fucking weird.
or don't have your AirPod in your ear at the same time you're doing.
He's got to hear the script, you know.
If you're going to be at an angle, you can have the earpod in your other ear.
I think it was meant to be an angle. I just think that's how
No.
It probably ended up being shot.
So dumb.
Yeah. All right, so NBA. Move on. Next game was Bug Snacks, Game of the Year 2020 with the song. Woo! So this is from the what's the name? Young Horses, who did Octodad, which I never played and I always wanted to play, and I've had it sitting on my PlayStation for like however long PS4 has been out now, and I've never played it. But anyway, I'm never going to play it, but I will play this. So Phil Tibodowski, president co-founder at Young Horses, wrote, in our first-person adventure, you play as a journalist who receives a mysterious film from the disgraced explorer Elizabeth Megafig. She's invited you to Snarktooth Island to witness her latest and greatest discovery, Bug Snacks. Lured by the promise of a great story, you travel to the island to interview Elizabeth and a group of misfit grumpuses. In the pursuit of the big scoop, you get caught up hunting Bug Snacks, feeding grumpuses, and solving the mysteries of the island. What are these half-bug, half-snack creatures really? How do they affect the bodies of those who eat them? And most importantly, why do they taste so good? So the song in this was one of the best things, I think, of the whole...
it was so good.
It was so good.
It was
it's
so
going to be
good.
stuck in my head for some while. I thought the trailer was quite funny, hilarious. I'm all about this. I don't really know what you're doing in the game, but I'm fucking all about it, you know? Kieran, you seem like you're...
I appreciated this game so much. I was confused at the start, but when they got into the Australian voice actors...
Oh, there's Bug Snack for you, mate.
And just the rate of these characters growing different snack-related limbs, but not having any care for them. Like, the lady's head turned into a strawberry and she just didn't react to it. I was like, what is going on? You've just lost your
What was that guy
hand.
say at the end? He's like,
Well,
I was
the
trying to
guy
carry
at the
some logs sort of
Try to carry a
torch,
torch
but
with
my
with
hand,
my
my
wiener
sausage
hand.
hands dropped it, and now I've caught the whole village on fire. Oh, bloody hell. Put another...
Not again.
Put another bug snack on the Barbie.
Like, it was just, yeah, if it was already funny, but with that song on top of it, where I was like, yep, let's go. Let's go. It's just, yep, this is it. I'm in.
Great. Ash, do you love it?
Yeah, I'm keen for Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 3.
Yeah. I can buy it. Buddy?
Yeah, it was funny, but I don't really care about this, to be honest. So, yeah, cool.
Fuck is wrong with you?
Get out of here.
You're outvoted on this one.
Not a buddy game. Not a buddy
It's so
game.
good. This bug snacks. Look at this. We've also
Make
been
it cheap,
hard.
put a platinum in it. Any game it can be a buddy game.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we'll find out what the
That's why you haven't
things-
played Octodad. No platinum.
That's a very good point. It does not have a platinum.
Same reason I haven't played
That's
it.
probably a big reason. I will be honest. Also, I like how they wrote in the thing. They're like they're talking about the DualSense controller. They said feeling vibrations change with the terrain underfoot. The trigger's tensing as I snap a trap shut on a bug snack, and then hearing its cute little chirp through the controller's speakers right next to my face. It's honestly so cool. That's some dark shit.
Yeah.
That's some dark messed up shit, but that's fine.
Well, I mean,
PlayStation 5 event.
they were
Dark
eating
as
those
fuck.
bugs live. They were living.
Yeah, it's a very dark game when you think about it.
It's just
Most
a
games are.
strawberry. Leave it alone. You don't cook strawberries.
No, what? Maybe people do. I don't know. So next game was the long. Everyone knew about this. Just basically, it was not a very well kept secret. But Blue Point's big game that they've been working on was, in fact, the Demon's Souls remake. And Shuhei
Cool.
introduced.
I was
Bluey the
I
Blue
was
Point
today's
10. Fuck.
I was today years old when I realized it's Demon's Souls, not Demon Souls. It's a plural S.
Is it though?
It is.
Is it though?
That's what the title says.
Yeah. So cool trailer. I never played Demon Souls. I'm never going to say the name correctly.
it's really
so you can get
hard.
fucked. But I will probably play this because, of course, I got into Bloodborne. I got into Dark Souls. I absolutely love Sekiro, so I absolutely love these Soulsborne type games. So
Wait, hold up. Sorry. What was that last point
absolutely
you said?
love my souls in my demons. Love it.
No. Bit before that.
Sekiro
Bit before
game of the
that
year.
was-
Love it. Absolutely great game. 10 out of 10. Love it. Should have
I feel
won
like
the Game Awards. Should have won the Game Awards.
uh,
Are you going to play this, Karen? Souls of Demons?
no, because this is the hardest one of all of them.
Yeah, but maybe they've nerfed it.
Demon Souls has a very well-known origin. The fact that if you can't play Dark Souls very well, you're going to suck at Demon Souls because it's much harder.
Yeah, but I can just complain about that in an article on explosionnetwork.com.
Wait, you haven't done that before unless you complained about how great Sekiro was and you were so, disappointed by how good it was.
Ash, I'm going to say this is a
This is a pass.
buddy.
Hard pass. Happy for all the Demon Souls fans, and happy that Blue Point can now work on other HD remasters that I actually give a fuck about.
Or their first original Bluey the Blue Point 10.
No.
Oh my
Come on,
god,
let's
this
go.
fucking
Let's go.
reference.
In jokes.
Stop.
I'm surprised they didn't announce the Bloodborne remaster that's rumored at the same time.
Well, it's supposed to be a PC thing. Like, this is a PS5 event. Why the fuck do I care about what's coming to PC?
No, but there's going to be a PS5 version of Bloodborne.
No.
Yeah, it's PS4 backwards compatibility.
No.
That's the version.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn straight.
Fair
Damn
point.
straight.
Well, I mean, it could have been like some sort of bundle or something. I don't know.
I wish, but no. The cool trailer, though, I'll say that. Even if you're not going to play the game, I thought the trailer's like, very dark and cool and whatever. So next thing was Deathloop. They showed gameplay. They gave us a bunch more information about this game that they haven't given us much information about it at all up until this point. So Deathloop is a console exclusive, as we can't tease before as well. It's coming this holiday season. Deathloop is arcane lines. I don't know, lines, right? Arcane lines.
Leons.
Leons.
Leon's. I was going to say, isn't it Leon?
whatever country, place you're from. Innovative take
France?
on immersive multiplayer experience. A story-driven first-person shooter where your main antagonist might be another player. You'll experience Deathloop's main story as Colt, hunting down targets across the island as you try to break the loop. Meanwhile, another player might temporarily enter your story in the role of Juliana, a rival assassin with their own singular goal. Protect the loop by eliminating Colt. Of course, if you're feeling particularly villainous, you can slip into the shoes of Juliana yourself, jumping into someone else's Black Reef for a tense game of cat and mouse. The multiplayer evasion element is completely optional, so you can toggle it on or off as desired. The trailer was the gameplay that we saw to me, very arcane, very, you see these Dishonored abilities like blinking on top of rooftops and, assassinating people and the gunplay and all that sort of stuff. Very much looks like an arcane thing. I also find that the trailer, the original trailer was like this as well, but they're very much sticking to this, if you say like a grindhouse / blaxploitation feel, I guess, like with the poster and the trailer and the way it's all edited together and stuff. I think this looks really cool though. I'm interested. Buddy, what do you think of Deathloop?
Yeah, I'm in now. The first trailer was fantastic, but the actual gameplay and looping it all together with the, I guess the parkour, the sliding, the fast nature of it all. Very cool art style as well. In.
Ash?
Yeah, it looks cool. I don't know if it's going to be for me, but definitely looks good. It feels like a Bethesda game. It reminds me a little bit of Doom, like the fast-paced action once you get started, but it definitely feels like an arcane game where you can do things stealthily, potentially.
Okay.
I'm in for this game. Like, I really like the fact that, yes, we saw 2 games that have some kind of time loop element to them, but this game seems to fully embrace that time loop and involve it in its gameplay.
And its name.
And its name as well. But no, it looks like a lot of fun. I really hope there's ways that I can play, if you guys have it enabled, I can come play the enemy character in your games. Like, that'd be so much fun for me to Dylan's going for the platinum. I'm going to get in there and fuck it up as much as possible.
That would be interesting.
That would potentially make the platinum easier if there's a trophy for killing the person invading your game, and then I'm like, hey, can you just come join my game and I'll kill you? Thanks.
I'm not going to let you kill me.
Okay, well, I'll get Buddy to do it then, because he would actually help me. So.
I'm going to destroy you.
Oh, well, that'd be the first trophy we do.
Yeah.
Get rid of the multiplayer one so we can just focus on playing.
Yeah, exactly. Get that shit the fuck out of here, then turn that feature off. Get the hell out of here. But this looks really, really great. And yeah, once again, worth pointing out, console exclusive. Really interesting to see what that means about Bethesda and Sony's PlayStation PS5 experience going forward, what that's going to mean. So next game, we're only a couple left, by the way. In case anyone's like, what did this go forever? Resident Evil 8 Village, or Resident Evil V.7 Ige. I'm not sure how we're officially saying the name of this game.
Is it Village Resident Evil?
Yeah. It's Resident Evil 8 Village.
Are you sure?
Well, it's the 8th installment.
Yeah.
And it has a subtitle.
Yeah, I gotta say,
Village.
the way they revealed the name, the stupidest thing in this whole fucking conference, in the presentation, in my opinion.
Was it though?
It was. So they said,
No.
cool trailer, and they wrote up a thing afterwards saying, taking place a few years after the events of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, in which protagonist Ethan Winters traveled to Louisiana to search for his missing wife, Mia. Resident Evil Village sees the reunited Mia and Ethan living happily ever after, and putting their shared nightmares of the Baker's plantation house behind them. Finally able to move on from these horrifying events, Ethan's world suddenly comes crashing down once again when Chris Redfield, an unexpected yet familiar face, makes an appearance, setting off a chain of events that sees a distraught Ethan seeking answers to Chris's shocking actions, and ultimately finding him in a mysterious village. Very cool trailer. Didn't look like Resident Evil. Honestly, at first I was like, is this fucking that Silent Hill game? Is Ash really going to get more points for this fucking prediction episode we did? Get the hell out of here.
Nearly.
And then once it got further into the end, especially the point where I saw the werewolf looking character or whatever thing, I was like, it's Resident Evil, because the werewolf type thing had been
there was also
leaked before.
Several
So
umbrella
that all
logos.
added up. Really cool trailer. I like the part at the end where Ethan Chris just shoots that old lady or old man, whatever it was. And then Ethan's like,
Was it?
whatever it was, he just.
I thought it was his wife or something.
I don't know. I don't know who it was, but Chris is just like bang, and then they're like, "Oh, what the fuck you do?" I don't know. Cool trailer. I still need to go actually play 7, so this made me want to play 7 more because I was like, "This is a cool trailer," so I've got time to actually go play 7, I guess. But yeah, Ash, you're a huge Resident Evil fan, obviously the biggest Resident Evil fan at Explosion Network. So, what do you think?
Yep. I mean, it's a good trailer. I mean, again, that name reveal is frustrating. Even on the Resident Evil website, they've got Village on top, at the top, then Resident Evil.
Village Resident Evil
then,
7.18.
It's from they're a Japanese company. They write things differently to us, okay? Jeez.
That's true. It's getting lost in translation.
They also did like pretty much the exact same thing for Biohazard / Resident Evil 7. So, and nobody complained about that shit, so let's move on, everybody.
No, it's terrible. Yeah, good trailer. It looks like a scary game, so that's not for me.
It's not spooky. Scary. Karen?
I was in the moment I realized it was Resident Evil.
It's
I was
right at the end.
At the start? No, because there's several points where they show the Umbrella logo throughout it, and it becomes kind of obvious for a Resident Evil aficionado. Thank you very much. No, but I'm really excited. I really love the fact that they're carrying on the storyline of 7. It means that they have officially said this is because 7 has branching kind of story parts in it a little bit. So they've kind of pointed at, okay, this one here's the right one. This is the canon one in some of the details for it. And I think it's going to be interesting to see where this game goes and how it continues to develop on this new version of Resident Evil in these first-person games.
Buddy, did you play 7? Are you looking forward to this?
I didn't, but I'm more keen to play this with the kind of witch storyline than the hillbilly outback feels like a version of Outlast type game. So I'm probably more likely to play something like this than number 7. I feel like it had a really Until Dawn type vibe to it as well.
You reckon?
Up in the mountains, the snow and everything. Yeah, I was like, is this
Also had a very Resident Evil 4 like feeling to it, but that's just similar.
So yeah, I'm keen to see more of it.
Yep. And then we got. Has anything else been written about this next one yet? Because I still don't know. So Pragmata, if that's like I presume that's a working title or something, because there's no way that's a real fucking game name, right? And
why isn't it a real game name?
It's from Capcom and it's coming in 2022.
So that's all. Yeah, okay, so that's not more than
that's
not more than I already had written down. Cool, right, never mind. So yeah, it's a game. It's coming in 2022. It's it looked like it was Hideo Kojima the game, honestly, because it looked like the
another one.
The space thing. There's like a girl and some holograms and something breaks through the thing and then they float up to space and cool
to the moon.
Yep, cool. Buddy, did you? Yep.
Remember when Deep Down was announced?
Yeah.
And we never got that game, and that was from Capcom, and now we've got this game that's announced and also from Capcom, except this one as I'm actually interested in, and the trailer looks trippy and cool. Yeah, I hope we get this at some point. 2023, whatever. Just at least come out, please.
2026.
The batshit nature of the trailer has me interested.
PlayStation 7.
Are you interested just because it looked like a Kojima game?
Absolutely.
I'm in.
Yep. Ash?
There's not a lot to go on. I mean, the spaceship, the astronaut suit looked cool. It definitely gave Death Stranding vibes. But yeah, who knows what this is.
Yeah. And
hopefully we get years of speculation about what it is.
Hopefully.
If they build it the same way they did Death Stranding.
And I presume you hated this, Karen, right? Yep.
Yes, I did. Fucking Kojima level bullshit.
Yep. And that's all there is really to say on that. So let's move on to the big last one, of course. Horizon.
Before, can I just say I really liked that they included the PlayStation Studios logos before stuff because I get more excited. Like, ooh, yes. What great tasty treat is this going to be?
What great tasty
they were all great.
So then the last game was the one that I thought was the most likely to be a launch game. It's worth pointing out, of course, they didn't actually give a date yet, but maybe we'll find out later. Horizon sequel is titled Horizon Forbidden West. The trailer showed off Aloy exploring further west into America. I don't understand where on the map exactly that is, or where this game's going to take place. But
San Francisco, right?
Is it? Is it?
Yeah, they had the Golden Gate Bridge kind of
And there was like
broken apart in the back.
there was some sort of thing that said San Francisco, I think.
Fucking missed it. There you go. San Francisco. The thing that I was most interested in is the fact that looks like you're going to have these stunning underwater sections. That's really cool. And obviously,
That's how you know it's next gen.
yeah, underwater sections.
Underwater.
Yeah.
Water temple.
Everybody loves water levels in games. Let's
Yeah,
go.
but next gen is going to make underwater levels actually good for once. That's the thing. And then there was
Is it though?
That's what it was. The building underneath in the water levels has got in Francisco. Yeah.
Got on. And then
So obviously the big earthquake came.
the next thing that stood out to me was there was a point where she's climbing a cliff or something like that, and it looks like, but it's like really weirdly vertical. And I'm just going to take that shot as confirmation that the climbing in this game is actually going to be a lot more open,
More Zelda-like.
more Zelda-like, and not just, hey, there's a yellow fucking section to this, and you can only climb on these certain sections or whatever. So that was my big takeaway. Overall, really cool trailer. Didn't really give away much of what the story about, and a lot of that may be to do with the fact that I haven't played the game for several years, and all I remember is Lance Reddick's characters turned bad, and then he fucked off. And they show him in this. It's not a spoiler. We're talking about the fucking trailer for the second game. They show his character in this.
The game's about to come out on PC, all right?
Yeah, well, fucking stop watching PS5 reveal events, you fucking Master Race motherfuckers. Get the hell out of my life. So then they show his character. He's doing something bad. I'm like, whatever. Cool
Infecting
story.
him again.
Yeah, I can't remember what he's doing. Cool trailer, though. Beautiful trailer. They also teased something at the end I didn't fully like. They're like, oh, I don't know, is this like a tribe, or are they just showing there's some big mammoths, and that's like the cool thing here that I'm supposed to be getting excited about? Either way, Horizon, it's getting a sequel, that's cool. Buddy, what do you think of the trailer?
Yeah, I love the trailer. It was fantastic. It looked amazing, and I can't wait to go back and watch it in 4K 60 when they upload that on the PlayStation channel. So, more Horizon, yeah.
Was you I don't know if I know this, was you like Horizon's a 10 out of 10, or like, because I feel like, because I was more like, I didn't not like it, like I enjoyed the game, but I was never like, this is one of the best games of all time. Where do you like kind of sit? Would you like super?
I don't know, maybe at 8.5, 9. I think the gameplay loop in Horizon and the variation in the combat's fantastic. I think the story is not actually that good, and it wasn't engaging. And a lot of stories in open world games struggle to do that, specifically when you have a million side quests or other mission variations around. And the sci-fi story, I think, could have been delivered a lot better. The audio logs and the collectibles in that game didn't really help do that with having the capability to be able to listen to them in the background, which I think is an important feature and something that you can do for world building. And you can kind of look at The Last of Us or even God of War to a degree where they really nailed those things for those type of games. So yeah, story needs to give a fuck this time, and that's come down to how they implement that.
You know, the story's a struggle where I am legit like, I cannot, like, I remember that a character turned bad, but like I can't remember much else that happened story wise in that game. So that's always a good sign. I'm sure that's how you think about it. Kieran, excited for Horizon Forbidden West?
I still need to, I've apparently just been told I need to get out of your life, Dylan, because I haven't finished the first game. And
I'm sorry.
you just thank you. Thanks, Dylan.
Too bad. Get over it.
Oh, okay, Dylan. Well, no, I'm excited. I actually think now, because I have like a week of like where I've got no kind of console game that I'm playing, I'm going to start Horizon.
No, you're not playing it. Let me tell you right now. Last of Us is out next week. Just fucking watch the Wikipedia YouTube video that I'm
playing
watch.
it, Dylan. No, just to spite you, fucker. I'm going to play it. And
I'm
I'm going to finish The Last of Us.
$5. You never,
Don't know if you'll be able to finish it.
you're not finishing this game.
I'm not going to finish it in a
finishing
week.
this game.
No. I'm not finishing in a week, but I'm going to start it and keep chipping away at it. I've got a week off for Last of Us. I'm going to fucking finish Last of Us in that week off.
No, you're not.
You guys are fucking. It's on. It's fucking on. All of you fuckers, you're all going down. Except for you, buddy. You're all right. You're on this show and you're great. But these two fucking Explosion Network fucks.
Ash, is Kieran finishing the game, and how do you think about Horizon?
No, he's not finishing the game. I mean, he should. I can't believe he hasn't. It's been 3 years. But yeah, this looks great. Be interesting to see how it plays out. Is it going to be a whole new open world again, or is it
Presume so.
going to be smaller, more narrative? Like
It seemed that there was so much.
it could be more narrative. Like,
There was so much variety in landscapes that I'm like,
yeah,
unless this map's fucking huge,
It could be.
then sure. But it seemed like it's going to be more narrative driven.
Nah, open world. They can't change that. That's one of the reasons people like
no,
it.
they could like be an openings like narrative section
Or multiple
potentially
maps.
to explain how she gets from the place where
That's probably.
she from to
That's the
San
DLC,
Francisco.
whatever that was
Isn't that
called.
Frozen Wilds?
Is it? Never played Frozen
Neither.
Wilds. I don't think you have either. So yeah.
You guys are never finishing Frozen Wilds before it comes out. You
No, I'm not. I'm
This
not.
week.
I'm not playing that DLC. I can guarantee you.
But yeah, there's interesting story elements. I mean, Lance Reddick's got stuff sticking out of him that I don't think was there in the last game.
It's okay. You've got till March next. You've got
No,
till-
like the wires and shit all over him.
Was there?
That's new.
It's probably something that I don't know because I haven't played the first game. Were there normal animals in the first
No,
game?
I don't recall. That was another thing that it was like,
so.
oh, there's like biological stuff. But yeah.
There's biological stuff.
There's
Humans are
biological
biological.
Biological creatures, okay? Happy?
Yeah, okay. How are we going to think about it? But that's
Look,
Horizon.
give us more machines. and stuff.
I presume they're
Alpha
going
machines.
to do a bigger dive during I presume we'll get an announcement like Horizon, Forbidden West, State of Play. You know, that's going to happen sometime
Yeah.
between now and the end of the year. And maybe that's when they'll announce officially, like, it's coming. It's a PS5 launch title.
It's
Something.
March.
No.
March next year.
March next year with the launch of the PS.
Shut the fuck up. Don't even fucking start.
there's fucking Ashley Hobley.
Don't even-
Speaking of the PS5,
Speaking about PS5, let's get into it. So PS5 was officially revealed, and by that I mean actual box. So to me, it looks like a mini Alienware PC. That's my hot take on it, or not hot take. I don't really know. Buddy, how do you feel about the look of the white PS5?
I dig it. It looks futuristic. Looks fantastic. I'm coming around to the white in as far as like a console, because more often than not, black consoles usually you can see the dust kind of gather a bit more, especially when you have like a black car and a white car. If you compared those, it's just usually the controller that I'm not too fond of, but I guess you can get a different colored controller. The first thing my wife was watching it, she just woken up and come downstairs and like, does it have to stand?
That's
but it has
the
obviously been
interesting thing.
confirmed that you can lay it down.
Yeah.
Even though when you're laying it horizontally, it still looks like it appears to be on some kind of stand
yes,
as well.
So-
But I
better
think it
come
looks
with
good.
better come with the stand.
Yeah,
That's
better come
the
with a stand. I think it looks good. I think the trailer of revealing it and the whole kind of breaking down the image and everything was fantastic. And one thing I really wanted to bring up, I don't know if you're going to speak about it later on, there was in between some of the games, there was like a UI teaser.
There was
Or, like,
one
press
of the
the
games,
PS button.
one of the games where it was like go to the settings and then it would like show like the press the PlayStation button to launch. Looked
Yes.
nice, looked pretty.
I think it was Astrobot.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
But the whole lineup of the new headset, the controller chargers and all that stuff, and makes for a very good marketable image.
Yeah, so
I dig the design.
that's the part, honestly, that's the part that confused me at first until I got this email sent through that expanded on that, because I was like, because they show the original SKU, you know, just your PS5. I'm like, cool. I neither love or hate this, but I'll just get used to it because I'll buy it and it'll sit in my fucking thing and then I'll play games on it. And I don't care. Like, I never think it looks amazing or hate it. But at the same time, I can never remember buying or seeing a console for the first time and being like, oh my God, I'm fucking so attracted to this box.
This is the best thing ever.
Like, unless it looks super ugly, I'm probably just going to be like, it's fine, whatever. I don't care too much. But when they showed the second one, which I'm sure Kieran will want to talk about in a moment, the old digital edition, and then they showed all the accessories after that, I'm like, are they trying to say that like this old digital edition comes with the accessories? I was kind of confused about the messaging, but yeah. So in the email from Sony, it just says SIE also announced a slate of new PS5 accessories to enhance the game experience, including a Pulse 3D wireless headset offering 3D and support and dual noise cancelling microphones. That's dual microphones, everyone. HD camera featuring dual 1080p lenses for gamers to broadcast themselves, along with the epic gameplay moment. It says dual 1080p lenses. I'm not sure if that's going to be important to go forward, where it's like, I don't know if one's going to be used for that might just be for image stuff, but then maybe one will let
It might be future proofing.
Yeah, future proofing for sorts of things. And then media remote or remote control of built-in microphone to navigate movies and streaming services with ease, and a DualSense charging station for convenient charging of two DualSense wireless controllers. That is the only thing that stood out to me that I'll probably get day one. I want that charging station. But yeah, go. Buddy.
The media remote is a big get because it is one of the big criticisms and something that is well sought after from a lot of people at retail level, that they want a media remote for a PlayStation 4. Xbox One comes with one natively, and they push so hard that they are a 4K player, and they're also, even at the start of the generation, where they're more of an entertainment box, even though they've kind of pivoted away from that. PlayStation having the media remote and being a part of this lineup definitely speaks to people who go, okay, now it's got an Ultra 4K HD drive, and I'm a movie collector or cinephile or something like that. Now they've got the media remote. Okay, they're really pushing that this is going to be for that, and not let Xbox have that level of the market. So
it's like I was gonna say they don't need to go hard on like pushing it like this is an all-in-one entertainment machine, but by having the remote and the 4K player this time, it means they're not just like laying over and letting Xbox win that side of the console battle, I guess. Yeah. Ash, what are your thoughts on the box and everything?
On the box, it looks fine. I mean, it looks very different to everything obviously any PlayStation before.
It wasn't a giant 5 or at
least,
V.
I mean, it definitely fits. They're definitely going for a look with everything so far. And I think someone mentioned it looks very much like the PSVR headset as well. It matches that color scheme as well. So
yeah, it does. Whether or not,
yeah, so I like it. It's a shame that this is the only color it's ever going to come out in. It's not going to come in any other colors or schemes or anything. But it's white, so you can color it in any way you want.
I do have a black Sharpie in my hand as well, so I'm set. Kieran, what do you think of the box, and then what's your hot take on the old digital edition?
I was okay. Box looks cool. Looks interesting. I want to. I haven't seen it anywhere like lay flat, so I want to see that because
press start.
Is on press start. Okay, I'll have a look once this is finished recording. Looks like a fucking Alienware spaceship. Like that's. I had the exact same thought. God damn it, Sony! Why are you releasing the digital? Goddamn! Oh, I can see it there. Oh, it looks cool. Okay, it looks fine. Okay, cool. Thanks, buddy. I think, God damn it, Sony, why do you have to do something cool like release a digital-only console? I think the only thing that would annoy me is that, and that'll be when the price comes out, if the price is equal or more for the digital version, I would be reasonably annoyed.
The digital edition will be way cheaper.
It'll be, the digital one will be cheaper because PlayStation will make their money back over you buying all their digital stuff more expensive.
Damn straight. Hell yeah. I'm happy for it. I even had I had a split second of, oh yeah, but then I kind of closed myself off from ever being able to like grab a disc off somebody and play a disc, and then I was like, no, I don't care. And then no, I'm really excited for the digital edition.
So you're committed to digital at this stage?
Yeah, I'm 100% committing to a digital edition version of this console. Like, I'm buying an Xbox, so if I want a Blu-ray player, I've got a Blu-ray player. But nah, fuck yeah, let's go digital only. Like, let's go there. You know what? And then with the extra money, if the money I save, hopefully I can buy like the headset with that at the same time and have the headphones because that'd be really fun.
Buddy, how do you feel about Kieran putting you out of work?
I still don't understand digital consoles. I don't really think it's for the Australian markets. It's probably a lot more suited elsewhere that has better internet infrastructure. Why close yourself off? You're only going to be able to save $50 at most. I think an Xbox One X or One S at the moment is $379, and then your normal digital price is $349. So there's only ever like a $30 difference. Yes, they do throw in like 4 downloadable games, so that might be the appetizer for when they do kind of a bundle where it's maybe not as much price difference off, but then they're throwing in some digital titles or something like that. But I don't think it's going to be this mammoth saving of $100 or something like that, unless there's kind of some specs that are different in the PlayStation 5. The Lockhart is rumored to be less powerful than the Series X, so that they can get it at a price point that they can take on the PlayStation 5, or at least have a more affordable entry into their lineup. I don't think PlayStation will do that. They will have the same kind of specs in both consoles. They're not going to dumb it down a bit. They'll just remove the disk drive for try and once again eat into that market share that wants that digital only. And for people like you, Kieran, who would prefer digital, and you're going to get an Xbox Series X anyway, and you're going to have the drive there. Well, if you can save a bit of money, like you said, and put that towards something else, then that's an option for you. So,
damn straight.
All right, final question for everyone. Or 2 questions. Go. I'll start with you, Ash. But rate overall out of 10. How do you feel about the presentation? And then also, judging by everything you've seen so far, are you still set on your like what your estimate for the price has been in the Radio Watson episode of PlayStation next gen predictions, or have you mine can't change? So, why would you rate it, and anything changed?
Yeah, I'd say it like a 9. I think there might have been some things they could have improved on, like the slight trailer tweaks that we mentioned, and then I mean they could have potentially like blown us out of the water with some other stuff, but price wise, I think still around that $850 mark wouldn't be so shocking. We've seen speculation about way higher prices. I don't know if that's going to be true or not, but yeah, I think that hopefully around that mark.
Karen?
So I'm going to stick with around my prices. I think I'm going to give it a 9, but only because I think PlayStation has a history of just having amazing showcases in recent history.
Yeah.
That they're, it's going to be really hard for them to reach that 10 mark probably ever again. When they do reach that 10, it's going to be a show that truly blows everybody away and is freaking amazing. So definitely give it a 9, and yeah, price mark definitely sticking around that $750 mark for me.
Buddy?
I'm going to give it a 10, and forget all the the individual game announcements and whether they resonated with me or not. The fact that they opened with GTA and they, the highest selling game of all time is coming to PlayStation 5. That announcement was going to happen anywhere. You may as well showcase it here. And all of a sudden, all the people playing GTA go, huh? And then that's instantly marketable to 100, 150 more people, even million people that, even if they're on Xbox consoles and getting that on Game Pass to kind of jump over. Then we get into the PlayStation 5 stuff. It's bookended with Spider-Man and Horizon, your big heavy hitters. And then for me, it's the diversity that they showed with the commitment to family-focused games, the recommitment to indie games. So whether I liked it or not, the games, I think as a presentation, I think it was perfect. It set out to do exactly what it did. The reveal at the end of the console was sleek. The production, having the figureheads like Shuhei, Herman Holst, and the developers speaking, I think it didn't look like it was some at-home rush job like some of the other presentations or stuff we've had during all the COVID stuff. They had the streamlined background, and it didn't feel like any audio or anything else was out of sync. This could have been a first choice E3 presentation, not just a these are the times we live in, let's make it work. The only outlier to that was the NBA guy with Zion or whatever. But as far as like execution and what they wanted to accomplish, I think they nailed it 100%.
And how you feeling about you feeling high price, low price, or are you still just like, nah, it's all looking like...
I'm still feeling like $7.99 Australian. And if you're going to do the digital edition, I reckon it'll be...
Like, say, like roughly $50.
Roughly $50, and they might throw in a digital code, which is something they never have done with bundles. They usually will give out full discs. Microsoft usually have your downloadable codes, even for when it's not digital editions. So that'll be a change in marketing and strategy for them.
The newer ones, the newer Xboxes, they just have like when you load up the console, it actually just loads that you've got a download available for it. There's no codes anymore. I'm actually, minor point, I'm super excited for hopefully there being like a month out from PlayStation 5 being released, that the PS Store has like a PlayStation 5 section where I can just purchase all my games digitally beforehand. And then the moment I turn on and sign
You
in,
can pre-order,
like as soon as I turn on my PlayStation and it just starts downloading everything, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, they're gonna have your console plugged in the factory, and it's just gonna preload it.
Please do. Also, PlayStation, please have a decent wireless freaking nick in this console, because the current one is garbage.
Yeah.
It's not great. But so I would give it a 9. I think overall, like, the pacing, what was shown was just such a grand variety, a great variety. It really gives you a taste of what the PS5 is going to be about, which is a little bit of everything, a little bit for every type of gamer, be that the family sort of game, kid game, all the way up to your hardcore gamer games. And they had a nice mix of sequels to franchises that we know, be that Spider-Man or Horizon, and then also bringing back some stuff like, obviously, another Ratchet and Clank, Oddworld in there, and all these other sorts of things, obviously. And the only reason I wouldn't give it any higher than 9 is because the COVID restricting it at the 1080p 30 frames only, and not being able to get a 4K 60 stream going to really fulfill the showing people the full potential of what this would look like while you're watching the stream was obviously slightly disappointing. And although you can go watch those trailers now, I'm just talking about like in the moment within the presentation as we were watching it. It was I understand, but it's still obviously a little bit of a letdown as I think. And I'm still like I agree. The $50 difference that Buddy says currently would be my current estimate about the price, and then so I'd say like $750, $749, whatever it says, probably roughly around how I'm feeling.
If it's only $50 difference, really, are you going to be like really going to go for the digital edition? Is $50 a big enough difference between the two?
Kieran's just going to get the digital edition, even if it was more expensive.
Just to spite us,
yeah.
But okay, for the general person, for the general person, is $50 difference?
No, I don't think the price makes a difference. I just think it's people who want the old digital console are just going to get it anyway, and it's just a happenstance that they get to save $50. It's not buying it over the other one to save money. It's just because that's what they want anyway.
For some reason, the digital only edition is more expensive, I would buy the normal edition.
Well, it ain't going to happen, but it's like
it's not going to happen. But if that was the case,
if they're the same price.
If they're the same price, I'll buy the digital one.
Yeah, see.
Like, it's just because that's my preference. And that's, like, I'm literally like, that's how I play games already. So there's no point me getting a drive for it or anything. If I'm going to have that with the Xbox as well, then
just rule out the option of trading games.
It's fine. He doesn't do it anyway.
I don't do that anyway.
He's basically been old digital this generation anyway, so it doesn't really...
Yeah, like, it
doesn't make any difference. All right, cool. That'll do it for this special episode. PS5... reveal, whatever they called it, Future of Gaming event. I think that's what the official title was called.
Future of Gaming,
yeah. You can find Buddy on Twitter at BuddyWatson12. You can also go find his special PS5 episode, which will be up. When you reckon this is up, Buddy? When you reckon this PS5?
Who knows? Tomorrow. Maybe.
Okay, tomorrow. Well, let's say roughly tomorrow. You can go listen to Buddy's special episode of Radio Watson on your podcast services, or follow the Radio Watson Twitter at Radio Watson _. Right?
Correct.
Yes. Thank you very much. Didn't need notes. Fuck it. Got it. So make sure you check out his special episode of PS5. Thoughts tomorrow for more, Buddy. You can find me, Kieran, Ash, all on Twitter by heading to explosionnetwork.com/Twitter, and make sure you tune in next Wednesday for your regularly scheduled episode of Platinum Explosion, of course. And until then, remember that Kieran will not finish Horizon at all. Bye.
It's on. It's on, everyone. You mark my words.
And he's British.